Oh, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday to you. TGIMF. You figured it out. You got it? Yep, he got it. Just hit home. Welcome in. Let's get our heads right on a Friday. And today we're going to earn our money. I'll tell you that right now. This is why we get paid. We don't get paid during baseball season. We get paid for days like this. A very slow-ish sports day and night, especially locally, but fine by me, man. More room to explore the space here on Ben and Woods this morning. May even take some calls later in the show. You never know.
Whoa.
You never know. Well, it's fake trade proposal season, and I have seen some bangers over the last 24 hours. Some absolute doozies. And if you ever watched Seinfeld, it's reminiscent of when George Costanza laid in a ditch for 24 hours, walked into George Steinbrenner's office and said, I think I found a way for us to get Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey Jr. We don't have to give up that much. I'm seeing proposals out there like that. And so, we can weed through some of the mess and try to get to the root of what the Padres really need, certainly. But let's have some fun also. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the EP, the executive producer. Ben Higgins is, hi, Paulie. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great, buddy. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well, fresh off a 79 yesterday on the golf course. He's back.
I did play well yesterday.
Back in the 70s.
Scrambling game was on point.
Today,
eight up and down pars on the round. I haven't done that in a long time.
Today is one of those days we could honestly sit back and listen to your shot by shot, all 79 shots of your round at Palma.
Let's start the campfire.
All right.
Didn't start that well, actually. Pulled my opening drive into the rough, topped my second shot through a bunker, sculled my third shot into the fairway at least, sculled the fourth shot over the green, and three-putted for double bogey to start my round.
That's how you started.
Yep.
That's a 6?
Seven, par
Seven.
five.
Oh, it's par
yeah.
five,
Par
okay.
5, 7 to start. My only double bogey, though.
Okay. And that was it.
That was it. After that, I played pretty well.
What'd you do on 2?
Drove it into the fairway, pulled my second shot slightly and long, had a nice chip, but rolled about 7-8 feet past, didn't make the putt, made a bogey on 2.
Okay, so double bogey,
Yeah.
bogey.
And then up and down pars on 3, 4, and 5. Bogeyed 6 after pulling my second shot left. Really good drive into the fairway, but pulled my second shot left. 7, par 3, hit the green, 3-putted. So, I mean, it wasn't a great start.
All right, this
the
is
first 7 holes, I am 5 over.
This is a fun exercise. What did you do on 14?
14, I left my second shot short. Chipped up onto the green a little short, missed the putt, and made a bogey there.
I really need to teach you how to count cards like they did in Rain Man. So that's what we're going to work on next. I'm going to be, throughout the next weeks, I'm going to be throwing toothpicks on the ground, and I'm going to need you to count them with your eyes, okay? Anyone that can have that kind of recall is impressive to me. It's impressive.
But I don't have it on everything.
Well,
I just have it on my own golf game.
Well,
It's
let's
weird.
practice. We're going to start doing the toothpick game in here. I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to go, and Ben, what do you got? You're going to go 71. And we'll see how you do. And then we'll learn how to count cards and make a lot of money.
But I've seen people who teach like memory tricks when you're trying to learn how to do it, is they say to create like a world in your head. Mm-hmm. And for me, if I really need to remember something, I will like put things on a golf course in my head, like hole by hole. Like if I have to remember a list of things,
You're
and like
joking.
On the first green, I'll picture like, okay,
no way,
I need to pick up, oranges from the store, and then I need this. So there's a pile of oranges on the green, on the first green, and then on the second green, there's I need sugar. So there's a bag of sugar like
on
all
the
over
green.
the green. That's how you create it visually in your head. To help you, like a memory palace is what it's called.
I am riveted as usual. First I've heard of it.
Never heard of a memory palace.
Nope.
Yeah.
But first I've heard that you do this 7 years in, again, If you need to,
I haven't needed to like remember. Now, I just write it on my phone like in a list.
So
I don't have to create a memory palace for what I need to pick up at the store. But you can do that if you really have no way to write something down, you have to remember it. It's a test or something. You create a memory palace.
I didn't want to be a jerk, but I was going to say if I need to remember something, I just write it down or I'll text myself often.
I will as well.
Yeah, I'll text myself, hey, dummy, don't forget to do this. You have an appointment, whatever.
I'll do that. Leave it unread.
Yeah, leave it unread.
Ah, yes.
Of course. Because you read it and you're like,
and it goes away.
You forget.
But that little circle red dot there, what did I? Oh, I've got to check that. That's
memory
right.
palace.
Yeah, memory palace.
I won't stop thinking about that for the rest of the day. What else do you put on there?
Whatever you need to. I mean,
It's only for
anytime you
things
need
to
to remember a long list of things, it's much easier.
You don't picture like nude women on the green, like on.
Well, if I was trying to remember nude women, then that would be what I would picture on the green.
He read a Playboy once, and he goes, hold on, I'm gonna put her on 17 at Augusta. now I got it. That's amazing. You remember in Happy Gilmore, Find Your Happy Place? And he goes to his happy place, and there's the girl. She got 2 pitchers of beer, and she's in lingerie, and his grandma's there. It's kind of like that a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Memory
It's just
palace.
it's something that's familiar to you, and then you put the things in your mind that you need to remember
I'm
in
reading
those
about it
familiar
right now.
Why
places.
a golf course?
Well, for me, it's a golf course because I remember golf courses really well. I can picture it in my head.
I'm reading.
So
It says
I
how
feel-
to create a memory place. Step 1 is
Place or palace?
It can be anything.
Palace.
I mean, a palace can be an actual like house, like at your house, rooms. Like picture your living room filled with stuff, and you walk into the kitchen and it's filled with the other
They
stuff.
say for the first time ever trying this, pick a place you know very well, like your home or your office.
All right.
Plan out the whole route. For example, your front door, there's a shoe rack, the bathroom, the kitchen, the living room's over here, etc. Some people find that going clockwise is helpful, so kind of like scanning the room.
I'm doing it right now.
Now take a list of something that you want to memorize. Maybe a shopping list of 20 items. Good place to start.
20.
Carrots, bread, milk, apples.
There's no way.
Take 1 or 2 items at a time and place a mental image of them in each locus of your memory palace. Try to exaggerate the images of the items and have them interact with the location. For example, if the first item was carrots and the first locus in your memory palace is your front door, picture some giant carrots opening your front door.
Yeah, exactly. Paulie's got it 100% right. This is how a
I've
memory
never heard
palace
of
works.
I haven't either. And when did you learn that you did this?
It's it was a long time ago trick when you're trying to usually remember things
Like
for
for
school,
tests?
for tests and stuff, and
I
you're
would just-
trying to remember something.
I
So
would
you
just write them on my arm and then pull my sleeve over it. And then during the test, I would pull my sleeve up and look at the answers because I don't have a real good memory.
anyone can work on the memory and have a better memory.
That's
though,
true.
If they want
My
to.
greatest hack ever. I don't have one in here. I would have a plastic water bottle, like an Arrowhead water bottle
Sure.
that you could drink in class.
Yeah.
And I would take off the wrapper,
Inside.
write the answers on the inside, tape it back up.
The greatest hack
Genius.
of all time when we all got to use those big 14-foot computers and that had the sliding cover. And then you just write all your notes inside the cover on a nice little index card, tape it in there, put your calculator on, and then you can slide your computer up and get your notes. That's what I did. I cheated on a lot of tests. I'll be
Do you really think the teachers weren't aware of that? They're not like stupid people. They know like
I had an AP
the same
teacher in high
tricks
school.
come around every single year.
We had really hard exams, and he would give us 1 page of notes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You could use one
One
page,
page of notes.
However, you were able
Tiny
to make
little-
bro. We had computers. We didn't have to handwrite at
I
that
almost
point.
just fell over.
I had computers. I'm like on Microsoft Word, and it's like literally like size 2 font.
Yeah, tiny.
And you just copy and page every note you've ever taken onto one page. You're like, hey, I got it. It's
Ben, you ask, don't teachers know? I really think it's one of those things where it's like, look, if you're not an a-hole about it, I'm not going to be an a-hole about it. I never got caught, but I wasn't good at, well, let's be honest. I wasn't good at studying for tests, and I wasn't good at taking tests. But I wasn't the kind of guy that's like, oh, I can't take tests. I was kind of lazy. But I wrote all my own papers. I didn't plagiarize papers or anything like that. But I'm going to a geology final. Yes, I'm going to crib some notes in there. I'm sorry.
And I wasn't like a massive studier. I just had really good recall. I read the material, and usually that was enough. Once I read the material, I could kind of picture it. I have a bit of a I don't have like a photographic memory, like parlor tricks, but I can. The way I remember things, like in a textbook, I'll remember where it is on the page, and that will help me, remember it for the test later.
Jay says wear an eye patch to the test. That is
on the inside of the eye patch.
Do you remember Spies Like Us, that movie? When he pulls,
Chevy Chase,
Chase, he pulls it out. He's got all the notes inside. Yeah, you do what you got to do. These days, though, I mean, like, I don't know if it's the same for kids or kids in high school and stuff right now where. I don't know that they do it the way that we used to. Read the material, come in and take this test. I don't think it's that way. I know Bo's messing around on iPads and stuff at first grade. They're doing a lot of their stuff online. So that's interesting, though. The Memory Palace. There's a bit in there somewhere. That's a great name for a bit. Memory Palace.
We can create a list for you and test you later to see if you can create your own Memory Palace.
Oh, I like this kind
Come up with a list for Woods and see if that technique works for you.
A lot of people asking, wanted to check in on me specifically about my disgusting, repugnant underarms.
I was shocked. So you tweeted out yesterday and asked the question about what's a better deodorant I can use that's not going to irritate the skin under my arms.
I just said, men, what's your go-to deodorant that doesn't irritate your underarms? Mine are on fire, and I showed you guys how disgusting they are. It looks like somebody took a blowtorch. It's repugnant, and their skin tags.
I can only describe it as like raw hamburger meat
with hair,
and a couple horns. It was traumatizing. Very scary.
It's not great, dude. And of course, after the show, I went home and I re-looked and was just like, like disgusting. So I put it out there. I'm in worse shape than I was.
I mean, you got so many replies.
I got 146 replies. They're damn near all different. So I don't really know what to do.
Everybody has an opinion on deodorant / antiperspirant / use neither, and I've got a different technique. I was amazed at the responses.
I mean, it's truly incredible. And a lot of people are telling me the one that I already use, the Old Spice, and it's just, I can't use it anymore. Clearly, there's an irritant there, so I need something a little softer. Brett Boone, by the way, weighs in on Twitter and just writes, secret. And I said last night to my wife, I'd go, should I just get secret? And she goes, She's like, it's got the bad stuff in it, too. That she's like, she stopped using deodorant. She sprays like alcohol under her arms or something. I don't know. She's got nice underarms.
Like whiskey, or what are we talking about here?
Vodka. Yeah. 1 for the mouth, 2 for the arms. Mezcal. Yeah, it's so I don't know. I'm gonna have to go through this list.
Fireball under the arms.
Oh,
you'd smell like cinnamon at least,
delicious.
Which would be nice.
So I don't really know what to do. I didn't really get like a clear cut answer. I'm gonna try to go in and parse out which ones are truly the best. One guy just sent me one. He said this is truly like the Cadillac of deodorants. I've never heard it. Necessaire. It looks very fancy.
Is it time to change the expression, the Cadillac of things? Cadillacs aren't that popular anymore. It used to be back in the day. The Cadillac was the top of the line when it came to vehicles.
What would we say now?
And then it had its resurgence when the Escalade was like the choice of rappers and famous people. It's good, but now I just don't feel like it's necessarily as appropriate anymore. I don't see as many caddies on the road.
It's a story for another day, I think, but I do like that. So I'm going to be checking out. I think I'm going to check out this Necessaire one. Looks like you can get it on Amazon. It says it's deodorant gel, eucalyptus, aluminum-free, clinical, mandelic acid deodorant, extra strength odor control, no bumps, no discoloration, no parabens. I cannot have any more parabens.
Tired of the parabens.
I'm over it.
Hate parabens.
I hate parabens. So there's your update on my underarms. They're still disgusting.
What about a single Ben?
Oh, a parabens. Oh, my God. All right. Got it. I just got it.
All right.
is how today's going to be.
I was mostly confused yesterday with your confusion about when you asked before the show yesterday. You were showing off your underarms.
Yeah.
And you asked me and Ben both. You go, when was the last time you guys looked under your arms?
Yeah.
And we both kind of looked at each other and went, I don't know, like an hour ago, like this morning before we left the house.
Right.
You seemed very confused by that.
What was my confusion?
How do you not look under your arms?
Yeah. You were like, really?
Do you not, when you apply your deodorant, are you not in front of your mirror anyway?
Well, so sometimes what I'll do is I'll put a shirt on first. Then you know what I mean?
I see.
Because I shower in the morning. You two creeps don't. So I get up, I shower, and then I put my shirt on, and I don't want to get the deodorant stripe down the shirt. So I put my shirt on, then I have to do the, pull it out and put it on. So it makes it a little different.
Gotcha. Okay.
This guy says garlic with a little olive oil. Works for him.
I think you're making a puttanesca, maybe.
I'm marinating a chicken breast under my arm all day, so that'd be perfect, Steve. Thank you. Yeah, somebody said Old Spice hurts. It does. Somebody asked me, do I have jock itch? No.
I've been using the same type of Old Spice for, I don't know.
I can feel it searing
15,
right now
20
because I used it again. It's searing.
Gold Bond medicated powder.
Maybe I'll try that. I just don't know what to do anymore. Yeah, Secret gets the misogyny belt. Strong enough for a man, but made for a woman. That's very misogynistic, I think.
Do they even use that anymore?
I don't know that they
slogan?
do.
You probably have to retire that nowadays.
I don't know that they do. Well, all right, thank you guys for your concern. I think I'll be okay. It's just repulsive.
Good luck on your
I'm going to try
journey.
I'll let you guys know by the new year if I can get the swelling and the skin tags gone.
We are, did you know, heading into a holiday weekend.
We are.
So this is our last show until Tuesday morning. Probably a good thing at this point.
Yep.
We will come back and set the menu for a Friday and, and let you know what we've got coming up on the program. We got Woodsy, we got Paulie, we got Ben, we got Kelly Danick with traffic, and then we're back here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
You mentioned Happy Gilmore in our opening segment. As you know, I'm not a gigantic Adam Sandler movie fan, but last night,
beneath you, yes.
Last night, we were home, got takeout Thai for dinner, watched the football game, and then I got out my laptop and was doing some show prep, and Shelley turned on a movie, and it was an Adam Sandler movie, and I was sort of half paying attention, just looking up at the screen, and until just this moment, I thought we were watching Big Daddy, which was the 1999 film starring Adam Sandler.
It's an elite movie.
But apparently not, because I just looked at the cast, and this one had, the movie we were watching had Jennifer Aniston, and they were at like a resort, and there was like a guy pretending to be German, and there were a couple of kids
Just go with it.
were kind of kids or not kids, and I don't know if they were his kids or not. I wasn't paying close enough attention, but I just realized as I looked up Big Daddy to see, okay, what was this movie? That was not Big Daddy I was watching. What movie was I watching last night?
Just Go With It.
Just Go With It.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Was that a good Adam Sandler movie? I don't remember laughing at all.
Big Daddy was really good.
Big Daddy. We should have watched Big
Happy
Daddy
Gilmore,
instead.
elite.
Happy Gilmore.
Billy Madison,
good.
elite.
Billy Madison, yeah. Big Daddy is one of my favorites.
What was the plot of Just Go With It? I could not understand and follow it.
I think I watched half of it.
Okay.
My favorite Adam Sandler movie is Funny People, which I think
It's great.
was dramatically underrated.
Terrible ending. Long, drawn out, horrific, terrible ending. But up to that point,
it's a long movie.
It's a long movie. But the ending, you're like, stupid. There's so many better places to end it, I thought. But Big Daddy's good. My kids love Big Daddy. Loose skin and old balls. Gross. It's so good. Have you not seen Big Daddy?
I have not seen Big
He's got
Daddy.
a 5-year plan. What is it? Don't
die. Hey, Old Man River, zip it, I'll break your hip. It's so good. It's such a good movie. Oh,
Hooters.
Quickly before we get going here, you know Tier 1B George? Well, it's his girlfriend's son, Connor. He's flipped him. He's hardcore Tier 1 now. And Connor turns 22 today. So happy 22nd, Connor. Connor didn't think that Tier 1B George actually knew us. And he's like, you don't know them. And he's like, watch this. So he DM'd me. So I made a video for him and sent it over to him. And he's a huge, huge Tier 1. He listens every day. So happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday.
And sorry, Tier 1. It's weird because Tier 1B George is, with this guy's mom.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
22. It's the first kind of non-important birthday of your life.
22 was an elite.
What?
Elite birthday.
I mean, once you've hit 21, everything good that can
amazing.
really happen to you by aging
22 is my lucky number. So
21, you get a bunch of the stupid stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
22, you're like, all right, now I've been around the block. Now I know what I'm doing.
I'm not saying that life is
and then like
getting worse.
Blink 182 says, nobody likes you when you're 23.
That's right.
You're in your prime for many years. I'm just saying that as you age, you come into more things, but whether it's driving, drinking, gambling, serving in the military, whatever, voting. But 22 doesn't come with any additional privileges.
I got so many privileges when I was 22. I've never actually
that you didn't have when you were 21.
I was never more privileged in my whole life. A lot of privilege, lots, more than I could handle.
21 to about 24 was a pretty elite run.
My summer of 22, I had just moved to Chicago. I had the whole summer. Chicago is my oyster. So, yeah, I was privileged many times. Several different privileges.
King of the city.
King of the city. Worked at a bar. It was over. It's hard because I'll be 50 this year. And I look back at that summer. Then I'm like, it's tough to top. Tough to top.
Dominic says 20 years old sucks.
It's terrible. 20 is the worst year. It's terrible. 19 is bad. 20.
I think it feels good, though, on your birthday, maybe to get out of your teens.
Yeah,
you're no longer a teenager anymore.
But you're like
the countdown is on.
You're fogging up the window at all the bars and places you want to go to. You're like,
just like,
please. And you can go. You have a fake ID and everything else. But to really walk in and be like, all right, no BS. I've really arrived. It was very important to me. Yeah, it was a good year. So happy 22nd, Connor.
All right, setting the menu coming up on the program today. Did get some new news and notes, some interesting stuff regarding the San Diego Padres about Xander Bogaerts, Luis Arraez, Michael King, some of the free agent potential targets on the pitching side for the San Diego Padres yesterday. Courtesy of Kevin Acey of the Union Tribune. Want to go through some of those news and notes in our next segment as we'll talk some Padres baseball early.
And courtesy of AJ Preller, obviously talking to Kevin and being, in my opinion, a little more forthcoming about expectations. I mean, honestly, we've covered this team for a long time. I had told you guys a couple of weeks ago, I came in raving about Dave Dombrowski and his when he addressed the media. And he had these kind of real detailed plans and expectations for his players. And I said, that's cool. That's refreshing.
Very transparent.
He was very transparent. And AJ had not been to that point. And I read this thing yesterday, and I went, look at that. That feels more transparent.
Well, AJ will occasionally give you a little bit more in a one-on-one setting. And, Kevin's credit, he went to the GM's meetings in San Antonio, which otherwise is probably a really boring 3 days where you're sitting there. But for the, however many minutes he talked to AJ, he got a little bit more out of him than AJ shared on the Zoom with the rest of the media during Mike Schilt's news conference this week. So we will talk about some of the new news and notes that came out yesterday. Do want to talk about the second very interesting ending to a football game in this work week. It started on Monday with the Tampa Bay Bucks not going for two and losing the game in overtime. This time the road underdog went for two in the final minute. and lost the game because they didn't convert against the Baltimore Ravens. And we'll discuss Thursday night football, probably the best Thursday night football game we've seen in quite some time from last night in our 7 o'clock hour. Play Take on Woods. Paulie tells us we've got a brand new monthly Vegas prize. Finally, it's been a couple of weeks, but we got a new getaway to Vegas up for grabs, and you can play Woods on a Friday and try to be the first person to qualify for our new vacation getaway coming up at 7:10. Don't do this at 7:20. And then some more Padres talk as we move forward. Want to start talking about, and this was a topic that I brought up earlier this week, but we didn't really discuss. Potential trade chips for the San Diego Padres this offseason. Both, guys that you'd immediately think of, but also maybe guys we're not thinking of, because AJ always surprises us. Always. Almost every single offseason, there's a move that comes out of nowhere. What could it be? Craig brought up one yesterday on his show that I thought made some sense. I don't know if people would be happy about it, but I think it's definitely something AJ might be considering, and I want to talk about potential moves that we're not thinking of right now that AJ could be making this offseason.
Yeah, and I went down the potentially most embarrassing rabbit hole of my entire career. Paulie knows.
I don't know when you want to do this, but 8 o'clock?
Yeah. I don't know how to feel about myself anymore.
What time?
Really
This is probably like 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And Woods texted me about this rabbit hole that he had gone down. I was like, haha, totally. He's like, no, you don't understand.
And I kept going.
And I was like, wow, you're really, really into this, like,
I have a lot of apologies.
Gen X drama.
I have a lot of apologies to make.
Or Gen Z? What are they?
I don't know.
One of the gens. A lot of drama.
I'm deep. I got deep.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's not me. I don't know. I've lost my way a little bit.
your actual, I think verbatim, your first text, you talked about it, and then he said, what the F is wrong with me?
Yeah. I said, what is wrong with me? Yep. This is it.
I'm ready to hear about it.
All right.
All right, stay tuned. It's all coming up. We will be right back with more Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Padres need more from Luis Arraez. Just one of the notes that we got yesterday, courtesy of Kevin Acey in the Union Tribune. We'll talk about some of the things to look for this offseason and heading into next spring training coming up. First, quick check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a crash involving a car and a motorcycle northbound 805 at the 905, trying to move that out of middle lanes. Also southbound 805 before 43rd, we have reports of some sort of metal debris in the HOV lane and some debris across lanes eastbound 52 past Santo Road. Looks like some large plastic containers bouncing around, so take it extra carefully there, East 52 past Santo Road. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, couple of news and notes, and let's start with Xander Bogaerts, Woods, from the UT yesterday, and A.J. Preller, who said Xander Bogaerts will be given a little more notice this year than last season on which position he will be playing in 2025.
Yeah.
Almost certainly be shortstop or second base.
Yes.
Depending on how the offseason progresses for the Padres. But A.J. was almost introspective in perhaps acknowledging that the Padres did not handle that as well as they could have last season with waiting until essentially the first day of spring training and then telling Xander Bogaerts,
by the way,
we need you to move to second base this year. We're going to have Ha-Sung Kim play shortstop. No preparation, no off-season to work on it, just day one of spring training.
Yeah. I mean, and we remember, and it did come as a shock, and I thought Xander handled himself really well through that last year. Remember, man, I mean, it's not like what we do. It's not like what you do listening. This is a different thing entirely. And, he had started 1,319 games at shortstop, and you get signed, and they tell you, hey, you're going to be a shortstop for a while, and eventually you'll move off the position. But to show up day one and them say, hey, actually, we're going to need you to play second. I think there are certain players. I don't know, like. I'm sure it's happened before where it's like, hey, if you need me to do this, I'm available. And they say, you know what, we'll take you up on that offer. But to walk in cold, what's up, fellas? I'm back. Hey, what's up, Xander? By the way, you're playing second. It was a little bit of an odd scene, and he handled it as well as he could have.
I felt like in my head, when that happened back in March, February, whatever, last year or this year, I feel like in my head I go, there's no way. He had to have known.
Right.
Somebody's not telling the truth here. There's no way he went the entire offseason preparing to play shortstop.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, by the way, welcome to Peoria. You're playing second. And then you read in those notes yesterday, and you're like, wow, that really did happen that way.
Yeah. Well, here's the quote from A.J. Preller. Quote, I think it was cool the way he handled things. I was a little late because we had a lot of questions about the roster. So we'll get to Xander here in a little bit to have that conversation. Be respectful of him. We'll have that conversation with him here sooner rather than later. Now, it's a good thing to say, and it's a good thing to try to make happen. But at the same time, you still have some roster questions, including some reports yesterday that Ha-Sung Kim has actually been one of the more early targets of multiple teams already in the offseason, that he's gotten calls from multiple teams, and there's even speculation that he might be one of the earlier signings this offseason. And when I say that, it won't be with the San Diego Padres.
I think that's smart of Ha-Sung Kim. I mean, he's going to start the season on the shelf. So you want to get the programs going as quickly as possible. A lot of speculation is that he will be a Giant and buddy up with his pal Jung-Ho Lee. I mean, that seems to be a foregone conclusion that he's probably gone.
Well, yeah, and those reports would indicate that the path for returning to the Padres, which might be on a 1-year prove-it type deal that accounts for the injury and gives him a chance to rebuild his value, will be unnecessary. He's going to get a fairly similar deal to the one he would have gotten had he been healthy. And if he does that, then there's probably no spot with him. The Padres don't need Ha-Sung Kim on a 5-year deal.
No.
They have Leo Dallas DeVries that they believe in coming up at shortstop in the next couple of years. They do need someone to play shortstop this season, though. And if it's not going to be Ha-Sung Kim, there's a good chance it will be Xander Bogaerts. And maybe you just, if you don't have a path for Ha-Sung Kim, you just tell Xander in the next month, you're going to stay at shortstop at least one more season. But at that point, you really stop your pursuit of shortstops, correct?
Sure. Finally.
Once you've told Xander he's shortstop, you don't want to, man, we got this great trade opportunity in February.
Willy Adames or
and
something.
Then all of a sudden, I don't think they're going to sign Willy Adames, but you never know what's going to happen. And you don't want to then go to spring training going, I know we told you were going to play shortstop, but we've found this other guy now, and we're going to need you to move back to second base again. You have to, if you're going to tell Xander early, you're going to tell him early. You got to stick with what you tell him, I think.
I agree, and I do think he will be the shortstop on opening day this season. I mean, if you don't go out and do anything, right, in the infield, if you do nothing but just bring back the guys that you had, I think, are we all okay with that? With Xander at short, Manny at third, obviously, and Crony at second, and Luis Arraez playing first. I think I'm okay with that right now. I mean, obviously, he's not a prototypical first baseman, but Luis Arraez provides a lot of value. And this is the interesting one to me when they were talking about Luis Arraez. Kevin wrote, the Padres are looking forward to another season with Luis Arraez batting leadoff for them. And that's the one I looked at and said, oh, okay, well, there's the answer to that question. Will they move him down in the order? Because, he's one of the most talked about players in baseball because of what he doesn't do, right? They write articles and long think pieces about the things that he doesn't do. And the things that he doesn't do is slug, and he's not getting on base as much as he used to. And A.J. Preller said he's going to go out and rake. The question,
what was he this year? About 50 points below his career
so
OBP?
About 30 points below.
30 points, okay.
So he said the question, I think, for him is going to be, does he tighten it up, and can he get the on-base percentage higher? If he's getting on base at his career mark of 379, that's pretty good. You take that from the leadoff spot. But his 346 OBP was the lowest of his 6 MLB seasons. Remember, he did have a shredded thumb, so he got that fixed. He did his surgery, day after the season ended, pretty much. He's ready to go. All from everything I've heard, and we know his old manager. Skip told me, I've never seen a guy that works as hard as he does in the offseason. Now, what that means, we'll see, but he will be putting in the work. He will take, in my opinion, he will take the directive from management and say, oh, okay, that's what you want me to do? Let's do it. Because how many times did we see the guy likes to hit, and how many bad balls did he swing at 3-1? Where, oh my God, that was ball 4, bro. Take the walk. And so that's what they want him to get back to doing, is walking a little bit more.
That's the danger here, though. And I'm not saying that I disagree. He needs, if he's going to bat leadoff especially, he needs the on-base percentage to go up. It's fair to say that Luis Arraez didn't have a very good season for Luis Arraez. I know he won a batting title. I know he does amazing things with the bat. Wasn't a really good season for Luis Arraez. He's had
he
much.
He had a torn.
I get it, but he's had much better seasons. If the Padres are going to rely on him as their leadoff hitter next season, they need him to be better than he was this last year.
That's what he said.
Not an insult. The Padres agree with that as well.
I think a healthy Luis Arraez would tell you, "Oh, I'm going to be better."
Yeah, and like I said, he is a guy.
His career speaks for itself.
But he is the kind of guy that's going to take that directive.
A healthy Luis Arraez probably hits for a higher average than 314.
Yeah,
so that helps the on base percentage some. But what AJ really wants is more patience, more walks. His walk rate was half of what it was. Now, it wasn't that big to begin with. It was 7.9% for his career, so 8%. It was down under 4% last year. If you can just get it back up to 8%. Or even like 10 or 11%, Luis Arraez could be a 400 on-base percentage guy. Correct. Incredibly valuable. But when you're asking him to do that, is he not Luis Arraez anymore? What Luis Arraez does is he takes bad ball pitches and singles on them. And if you're telling him now, don't swing at those anymore, are you fundamentally changing the player he is?
Not even a little.
Will his batting average dip down, though? He'll be a 280 hitter who walks more. Is that more valuable than what he was before?
I don't ever see Luis Arraez hitting 280 on any planet. He wants him to tighten it up, which, by the way, again, you're asking if he's not going to be Luis Arraez anymore. No, they want him to get back to being Luis Arraez with a 7.9% walk rate. Just get back to what you've always been. You're not Luis Arraez now. swinging at pitches out of the zone, swinging at pitches up. How many times? How many times on the 3-1 did he get that fastball up and he just kind of lofted it into right field? And you're like, oh, did he? No, of course he didn't get it. Like, that's not falling. They're not asking him to. They're asking him to just get back to where he was.
Was it a mistake? Were they a little too deferential with Luis Arraez last year, going, hey, you just be you. Go out and do your thing, when they should have said from the very beginning,
tighten it up.
Be you, but tighten it up a little bit, man. We're going to bat you leadoff. You need to get on base. You can't be swinging it.
Well, I think you give him
3-1 pitches that are close up out of the zone. That's not your pitch. Don't swing at that anymore.
He wasn't here the entire season, so you acquired him. And then I think you say, all right, go out and see. You don't want to start tinkering with a guy right when he gets there, especially when he hurts his thumb. Now, for me, it doesn't make sense. If I had a shredded ligament in my thumb, I'm probably swinging less than I would if I didn't, and he I think swung a little bit more. So just get back to being the Luis Arraez that comes in with a 379 OBP, taking your walks when you get them, and then continuing to get your hits. And he set a goal for himself. He's not going to hit it, but he's like, I want to get 300 hits in a season. I would like to see it. I would love to see somebody get 300 hits in a season. It would be fantastic. So I have no doubt he's going to put in the work. I have no doubt he's going to take that message and say, yeah, challenge accepted. I can't wait to see him. And listen, man, if it's not working out in the leadoff spot, it's not like you can't move him around. But it does sound like he's going to be back batting leadoff for the Padres.
Had some mixed news and notes about Jurickson Profar. AJ Cassavell in his MLB.com newsletter said it's probably going to be one of the offseason priorities for the Padres. His number 2 on his list of making, getting Jurickson Profar back into the fold. But Kevin Acee had a much more pessimistic view of a reunion between the Padres and Jurickson Profar, saying that around the league, there's speculation that while the mutual appreciation between Profar and the Padres could lead to a reunion on a lesser deal, the projections for Profar between $12 and $16 million a year for 3 years is almost certainly more than the Padres are willing to pay. So if Jurickson gets what people are thinking he's going to be offered, he won't be coming back to the San Diego Padres, according to Kevin Acee. In fact, it's according to people around the league, they believe it's unlikely Profar returns to San Diego. So that's a very different picture than the one I think we were thinking and maybe assuming going into this offseason that, there's a chance Jurickson leaves if he gets a really good deal, but probably he's going to be back. Kevin's turning this around and saying there's a chance he could be back, but probably he's going to leave and go somewhere else.
Yeah, I think that's how you have to handle that. And I think, is there some gamesmanship in that, Benny? A little bit? Is there some gamesmanship in saying, we would love to have you back, but it's got to be a fair and equitable deal for both of us, and we understand. Go out there, man. See if the grass is finally greener for you, and if not, then let's work something out. It says the agent and the Padres did talk. They did not discuss money, so they're just trying to probably figure out, all right, where's his head at? What does he want to do? You want to move to Kansas City and make $15 a year? It's not the worst idea. They got a pretty good team. Is that where you want to go? Because they could probably get you $12 to $15 million a year there that you're not going to get in San Diego. I'll be pulling for Pro wherever he goes, and I hope he stays. But that's $45 million for 3 years is a decent chunk of change.
I will stand by what I said earlier this week. I don't think the Padres are going to be the ones who present a big offer right away to Jurickson Profar. They're going to wait and be patient, and then they're going to react to what the market offers to Jurickson. I would think Jurickson's going to give them every opportunity to match or come close to matching and bring them back. If the Padres can't do that, then Jurickson's gone. But this is not something they're going to pursue actively and early. They will be more than happy to welcome Jurickson back on a deal that makes sense later in the offseason if Jurickson doesn't find something to his liking elsewhere. And that'll be up to Jurickson, whether he finds something to his liking elsewhere or knows maybe the grass isn't greener somewhere else, and I'd like to be back in San Diego.
Yeah, there's more little notes in here. None of them are super, I don't want to say confidence inspiring, but none of them are super like, oh, hell yeah. They talked about in here potentially keeping the payroll in the 200 to 210 range. Which I know, if somebody told Ben Higgins, Padres fan, 10 years ago, that's what the payroll would be, you'd be elated. But I don't know that makes me super excited, 200 to 210 right now. And then they're talking about Michael King in the next note, and it says, while the Padres are interested in keeping King, he grew to love San Diego, the likelihood of the sides reaching a multi-year deal soon seems low. So, I mean, not great.
More pessimism than optimism from what we've seen.
Yeah.
Also, some talk about keeping their eye on the Japanese pitchers who are available in the market, including Roki Sasaki. AJ, just like other GMs, waiting to see if he's going to be posted. And if he is, he will make as strong of a push as possible to try to sign him to that minor league deal that he'd be eligible for. They're also looking at the older Japanese pitcher who could be coming over, Tomoyuki Sugano. They've been scouting him a long time. And then there's Yusei Kikuchi, who's already around and pitched well for the Astros down the stretch after the trade deadline. All of those potentially targets for the Padres this offseason. So we did get some new news and notes yesterday. We'll come back, talk a little bit about the Thursday night football drama last night, and play Take on Woods next. This is a big Friday, Woods. Got the debut of the San Diego Clippers tonight at Front Wave Arena. And not just that. I know not everybody is interested in G League basketball, although I am certainly excited to have the new team in town. I think the fact that North County finally has a venue for something that it could be G League basketball, it could be the Soccers, it can be concerts, that you don't have to on a Friday. And as someone who has lived in the North County my entire life, driving down to anything on a Friday, Pechanga Arena, Viejas Arena, Snapdragon Stadium, Chula Vista for a concert, whatever.
Yeah.
Always such a nightmare that it almost makes you not want to go to things that you would want to go to. Like, I would love to go to that, but it's on a Friday, it's after work, and I got to drive all the way down. I don't know that I want to do that.
Tonight's going to be insane.
It's
at
different.
Front Wave,
it's
too.
different, you know, when you're
different.
thinking, oh, I only have to go, 15 minutes up to Oceanside. Yeah, I don't even have to get on the freeway to get to this place.
Yeah, it's true.
And I know that's, for someone down in Chula Vista, it's the opposite problem, but this is huge for North County people like myself.
Yeah, the home opener is tonight at 7 p.m. at Front Wave Arena. It is Bill Walton night as well. They're going to honor the late, great Bill Walton. You get in early. It's the first 3,000 fans are going to get a special Bill Walton San Diego Clippers shirt presented by Front Wave Credit Union with a nod to his favorite band, the Grateful Dead, Benny. So from 4 to 6, there's going to be a fan fest. You can get out there early and have a ball, man. Watch a band, get some food, get your face painted. I know you're way into face painting and things like that. So head on out tonight.
Tim says North County elites are happy. Tim. Yeah, pretty much.
You're right. You're right, we are.
Why shouldn't we be happy? Why are you mad at that? It really does. It really is the worst on a Friday.
Oh,
I'll drive down. I drive down every single day for work. I do it
every day.
But Friday at like 5 p.m., even I am like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know that I can do this at Friday at 5 p.m.
So I do PA for the Seals, and we're at Pechanga Arena, and the game starts at 7, and I leave my house in Encinitas at like 3:30. And I walk around Pechanga for 3 hours waiting for the game to start because I would rather do that than sit in traffic because it is not great. It's not great.
Last night, Thursday night football was, kind of oddly similar to Monday night football this week, except the coach made the decision that everybody wanted the coach on Monday to make. On Monday, it was the Tampa Bay Bucks, and Todd Bowles scored the touchdown with 27 seconds left, decided to kick the extra point, and the Chiefs ended up winning the coin flip and going down and scoring in overtime. This time, it was the Cincinnati Bengals who were down a touchdown, scored with 39 seconds left, and decided to go for two. Tried to take the lead right there over the Baltimore Ravens. And this time, well, it didn't work because they did not convert on the 2-point conversion. And you can make the argument, of course, there were penalties, pretty obvious ones that weren't called, but you can also make the argument that when you are on the road on a one-play situation like that, you can't expect to get calls on that sort of play. I'm going to go back to what I said on Monday. If they had kicked the 1 point, even if they had made the 2-point conversion, Baltimore had 2 timeouts left. Lamar Jackson had been unstoppable in the second half, in the fourth quarter. You think they're not going down and getting enough yards and Justin Tucker is kicking a field goal to win the game? Probably. If you kick one and tie it, I think Baltimore has to be very careful, and at least you're getting yourself a chance. Yeah, you may lose the coin flip just like the Tampa Bay Bucks did, but I bet they would much rather be in that situation now than what actually happened to them, losing that game last night on the 2-point conversion.
Well, and you know what's funny? I saw all the hubbub about the calls and the missed calls and the no calls. I'm to the point now with the NFL, and it's probably really easy for me to say because I don't have a rooting interest. I have a betting interest, though. I do have a betting interest in a lot of NFL games. It's weird. I've resigned myself to the fact that there are going to be really bad no calls and there are going to be really bad calls. And I've just kind of accepted it. It's this weird, I would imagine when you're drowning at some point, you're like, I'm just going to accept this. This is it.
It's dark.
There's it's very dark, Paulie. But you know what I'm saying? You just I accept it. I can't, the discourse over missed calls makes my throat tighten up. All you see the next day after an NFL game is, wow, look at this, hands to the face.
I get it when it's like when it's a
good
holding
God.
penalty that was missed. You're like, that was on the other side of the field. Like, yeah, it might have been holding it. I don't know that it really impacted the catch or anything like that. Face mask to the quarterback when he's trying to make a throw into the end zone.
I get it, man.
Those ones were pretty badly
They
missed
probably
yesterday.
missed 4 or 5 of those hands to the face a game, And so I'm just, like I said,
I guess it's anytime it happens to the quarterback because there is so much protection for the quarterback.
Well,
Well, you're like, bro, he's pulling him down by the helmet.
You know what it does is it brings out the scripted people and the rigged people, and I can't abide it. There is no script to the NFL. They're not rigging these games. The refs aren't in on it. They're just bad refs sometimes.
And they are subjected to human nature like everybody else.
100%.
And when you
And you're
are
in the
in someone
moments.
else's stadium, in a home stadium, and there's 70,000 screaming fans, and it's one play to decide the game, subconsciously, you're going to be more hesitant to throw a flag against that team in a big play like that. It's not something to really even be that mad about. It is. You would be if you were a ref, you'd feel it. Everybody would feel it in a situation like that.
And the other thing is, if you're the Bengals, and I know Cincinnati Sports Radio right now is, I mean, if you're on the morning show in Cincinnati, you text your buddies on the show. Like I would text Ben and Paul, and I go, "We're good. We got that hands to the face we can talk about for 2.5 hours. We'll take calls on it. We're set. Like what an easy Friday for us. We'll just throw our feet up, let people call in and rage about it." But like I said, I don't have a rooting interest really in the NFL. So I'm just watching these games going, bro, you had this team on the ropes. If you're the Bengals, I'm mad.
The play that you're going to run and not worry about everything else. They let the clock go down to 1. They call the timeout. They run it back. The next time, Jamar Chase is still one-on-one, but there's some players a little bit closer to where he is. They choose not to go to Jamar Chase inexplicably to me. If you're going to go for 2, put the ball in the best player's hands, which is obviously him.
Love the
They throw
check-in.
to a tight end. There could be pass interference. There could be a hand to the face on Burrow. No penalty is called, and they fail in that 2-point conversion. Now, I think you have to be consistent. If you're the person out there that said
They got the sports radio script emailed to them that we got. Hey, 7 o'clock.
7
Talk
o'clock,
about
yeah.
hands to the face and the 2-point conversion.
Well, and again, man, like I said, no rooting interest. The calls are what they are throughout the course of the game. The Bengals had a chance to bury the Ravens. If you're the Bengals, you're like, I turned it off at half, and the only reason I turned it back on is because you guys, because I was in a rabbit hole I'll tell you about in 53 minutes, which is mortifying. I'm mortified. And I'm going to lose a lot of street cred today. I'm going to tell you right now. But Ben's like nail biting time. I'm like, what are you talking about? The Bengals are beating the crap out of the Ravens. I put the game back on. I go, oh, okay, I still have a chance to win this bet. And it just, those are the things I look to. It's getting to that point to let a referee decide your game for you is on you. You had them on the ropes. You had them dead in the water, and you couldn't close. So it brings out the rigged conspiracy theorists, which make me insane. I don't think it's rigged for the Ravens. I really don't. I'll die on that hill. It's not rigged for the Ravens.
Need a contestant here for Take on Woods. We got a brand new Vegas getaway prize for you, but if you want to call in now and play in a couple of minutes, our musical trivia contest, 833-288-0973. Phone lines are wide open, so you can get in. If you're a first-time player, haven't played in a while, give us a call, 833-288-0973.
I've even softened on umpires. Wasn't
A
I
little
much
bit. You have,
easier
yeah.
on like I'm to the point now where it's like stop letting these guys dictate your game for you.
Bengals season's kind of slipping away. They're not a bad team.
No, I mean they have the ability
but
to.
they've lost every coin flip game this year, and they're now 4-6, and obviously they've been swept by the Ravens, so the division's pretty much out of reach. You know what is also out of reach? About a quarter of fantasy football matchups this week are already over.
Yeah, you're done.
Anyone who had Jamar Chase last night, 11 catches, 264 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Congratulations, you've won. And if you are unfortunate enough to be going up against Jamar Chase or Joe Burrow, who had 428 yards and 4 touchdowns, or God forbid you're going up against both of them, thanks a lot. Your week is over before it's even started. You have no hope of coming back.
In our fantasy league that we're in, the team that had Jamar Chase was going up against, I think, Sammy Lev, who had Joe Burrow. So he at least countered it a little
split it up a little bit. Yeah.
And then my buddy sent me a screenshot. Somebody in his league had both Burrow
That's
and
nearly
Jamar Chase.
100 points.
Yeah, you're good.
From two guys on Thursday before you've even really started your matchup.
Chase says I played a guy with Lamar and Chase. I'm already done. Yeah, you're toast. You're toast.
Yeah, Lamar wasn't bad at all. He had 290 yards and 4 touchdowns
that's a
and
pretty good day.
33 rushing yards as well. He was also good.
I love him, dude. I really do. I love Lamar Jackson. You see his pregame?
It's in the Paul Skeens category for you.
I love Lamar Jackson. Love Lamar Jackson. I love Joe Burrow, too. I like that game. Those are good teams, man.
You got to have Things Woods loves on Friday soon.
Just Paul Skeens, Lamar Jackson. I love Jamar Chase. Like them all.
All right, I see a lot of people calling
Let's
in.
go.
Let's get to it. Friday edition of Take on Woods. Take on Woods, brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. Let's go. Craig. Is this Craig? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning.
Right. You are our contestant today. Good luck. What are you up to on this Friday?
Driving to school.
All right. Let's try to get you qualified for our brand new getaway to Las Vegas. So you have a chance. If you beat or tie Woods, you'll qualify for a 2-night stay at the Westgate Las Vegas and 2 tickets to Soul of Motown and a $150 food and beverage credit. Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino features newly designed premier rooms, part of their $70 million room renovations, home of legendary Vegas fun, and the award-winning Soul of Motown is a high-energy concert-style musical tribute celebrating Motown legends. Must-see show during your Vegas vacation getaway. Tickets are available at westgateresorts.com. All right, Craig, we will give you the advantage of picking the category. Here are your choices. Lover, not a fighter. 5 song titles and artists that include the word lover. Locking down the save. Those are song titles that begin with the word save. And our new category, Get Into the Rhythm. 5 song titles and artists that include the word rhythm. So lover, not a fighter, locking down the save, or Get Into the Rhythm. Craig, what would you like to play?
All right, I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Lover, not a fighter. All right, today on Take on Woods, you got a mix of song titles and artists that all include the word lover. You'll get 60 seconds to try to answer as many of the 5 as you can. Don't know an answer, you can say pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. First question is that 2-second song. Paulie's queuing it up now. You'll need to identify the song title and the artist, one of which contains lover, to score that point. All right, Craig, are you ready to play?
Yeah, let's do it.
Paulie, you're good?
I'm good.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Category lover, not a fighter. Craig, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
Working for the weekend, Loverboy.
Correct. Earth, Wind, and Fire's Philip Bailey teamed up with Phil Collins of Genesis for which number 1 hit in 1984?
Easy Lover.
Correct. Stevie Wonder sings, "We are undercover passion on the run, chasing love up against the sun," in which 1985 number 1 hit that featured backup vocals by Luther Vandross and Philip Bailey?
Part-time Lover.
Correct. Prince's first major hit single was which 1980 tune sung entirely in falsetto?
I Want to Be Your Lover.
Correct. Which 1984 song was the biggest hit for American soul and R&B singer Tina Marie? Got some time. Which 1984 song was the biggest hit for American soul and R&B singer Tina Marie?
Tina Marie. Well, something Lover. I'm not sure.
All right. 4 is a good score, though. I think you got a chance here. It's Lover Girl is Tina Marie. You got the rest of them. Working for the weekend, Lover Boy, Easy Lover, Part-Time Lover, I Want to Be Your Lover. Stay on the line, Craig. I think you got a chance for an outright win here. That was a well-played game. All right, Woods returns from his isolation. Doesn't get the category. Definitely makes it tougher. 60 seconds back on the clock. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Craig.
That's Loverboy. You want to be in the show? Come on. Come back to it.
Earth, Wind, and Fire's Philip Bailey teamed up with Phil Collins of Genesis, for which number one hit in
Easy
1980.
Lover.
Correct. Stevie Wonder sings We Are Undercover Passion on the Run, Chasing Love Up Against the Sun, in which 1985 number one hit featured backup vocals by Luther Vandross and Philip Bailey.
Pass.
Prince's first major hit single was which 1980 tune sung entirely in falsetto?
1980. Oh, God. It's not... Pass.
Which 1984 song was the biggest hit for American soul and R&B singer Tina Marie?
Ooh. This is a soiling.
Want to go back to the 2-second song,
It's
get the
Lover
title?
Boy.
It
It
is.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Guess
Got
what?
smoked.
That was one of the biggest wipeouts ever. 4-1, Craig. You have defeated Woods and qualified for the trip to Las Vegas. Congratulations. Stay on the line.
Category?
So the category is lover,
All right,
not a fighter.
so-
So you got lover boy.
And it's that song,
Everybody's
Working for the Weekend.
Working for the weekend. You got easy lover.
Okay.
Stevie Wonder now is part-time lover.
Love that
Prince
song.
is I Want to Be Your Lover.
I-
And
when
Tina
you said
Marie
falsetto, all I thought was Kiss. But I knew that was way later, so I couldn't think of it.
1984, Tina Marie is Lover Girl. So that is...
I just want to be your lover.
That was the one that Craig didn't get. You knew it, but without the category, it just
got
never came
smoked.
to you. And congratulations, Craig. Well played game.
Funny thing is, I love
Today.
almost every one of those songs.
Yeah, I think they're all good songs.
I think the category would have maybe helped me get 3, not 4.
It wasn't
Tough
an
one.
easy category. Craig was sharp. I mean, got the first 4,
Like,
had plenty of time to
Craig!
try to think of Lover Girl. Didn't come to him, but definitely one of our better played games.
Champ is going down. The champ went down today, Don.
All right, stay on the line, Craig. Paulie will get your information during our break. We
Was
will.
it extra sweet because it was against me?
Woods.
Yeah.
Don't Do This is coming up next. I know I had I had a bad do this earlier this week, and now I feel even worse about it.
As you should.
But we had a good do this yesterday. Actually, we should have brought it up yesterday, but Padres did something really cool that I want to point out, and we'll get to that coming up after traffic here on 97.3 The
Question.
Fan. Yeah,
What does it feel like to kill a dog?
I didn't.
With your words.
I did not do it. He was already sick, Woods.
Okay.
On 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else. Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
All right, you might remember earlier this week on this this segment.
How could we forget?
I chose a do this as all the love and support that was pouring in for Kirk Herbstreit and his poor sick puppy Ben, 10-year-old dog, but the one that travels with him throughout the country for all of his college football and NFL assignments and sits in the booth. Very good dog, but was battling some health issues, cancer. And I thought it was really cool how many people around the country were offering Kirk his best wishes and praying for Ben. Unfortunately, it did not end with a Hollywood ending for Ben. Kirk tweeted yesterday, this is really hard to write, but so many of you have loved and cared about Ben that I wanted to let you know. We found out today the cancer had spread throughout Ben's organs and there was nothing left we could do. We had to let him go. I've had dogs my whole life, but Ben was one of one. He was smart, loving, gentle, patient, inquisitive, and welcoming to all. Always a big smile and a soft tail wag. He and I could communicate. He, more than anyone at home and traveling with me for work, Such an easygoing companion. Hard day, but he will live within all of us forever. God bless, please, his majestic soul, and thank you for putting him in my life for the last 10 years. A true blessing. Love you, Ben, from Kirk Herbstreit, who was working last night with Al Michaels on Thursday Night Football.
Send that to me, and I'm going to read all of that verbatim when you pass away.
Thank you.
At your funeral. Read it again.
I'm going to send it to you right now.
Send it to me right now. Was that on Twitter?
That was a Twitter post from Kirk Herbstreit. I just sent it to you. So there it is. You can save it for my eulogy later in life.
It actually is. It's actually perfect for your eulogy. If I outlive you, which is probably not going to happen, it is a perfect one. Because it even has your name. I don't have to change anything.
That's a good point.
Read it again.
It's really hard to write. Many of you have loved and cared about Ben.
Yep.
But I want to let you know. We found out today the cancer had spread throughout Ben's organs,
Yep.
and there was nothing left we could do. We had to let him go.
We did have to let you go.
Why don't you just let me go?
I'll let you go.
We're going to put you down.
I've had dogs.
I've had co-hosts.
My whole life, but Ben was one of one.
Yep.
He was smart, loving, gentle, patient,
Yes.
inquisitive.
All of those
and
things.
welcoming to all.
You are, well,
Always a big...
I'll scratch that line. I'll scratch that
Fairly
line. You're not
welcoming.
welcoming to all.
Always a big smile
Yeah.
and a soft tail wag.
Always a soft tail wag.
He and I could communicate. He and I understood each other and had each other's backs. He was
true.
with me more than anyone at home, traveling with me for work. Such an easygoing companion.
Yeah, easygoing.
Hard day, but he will live within all of us forever. God bless his majestic soul.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting him in my life for the last 10 years. A true blessing. So
you
what, I've
got
like
3 years left. Coming up next is more Padres talk with Woodsy and Paul. We'll be right back.
I know you blame me for Ben's demise
I do.
because I brought it up.
Yeah, you
But at least I didn't kill Gary Coleman.
All right. Now listen. Shout out to his family. Listen.
Thank you, Paul.
May 28th, 2010. I believe it was a Friday. I was on a show. I'd only been on the air here in San Diego since February, so I was pretty new. And I don't know what got into me, but I started, I think, mocking or making fun of Gary Coleman for something on our old radio program. And this is Friday, and I'm
probably for being short, which is totally beyond his control. I know you.
I don't know what it was, but I was doing something, and I was making fun, doing
But you
bits.
talking about Willis?
Yeah, I was doing bits and stuff. I was going to L.A. to see a dear friend of mine that day. I got in the car. By the time I had gotten to L.A., Gary Coleman had passed away. And everyone was texting me, calling me like, oh, nice work, dude.
Way to go.
Old school listeners will remember that day. And it was not a good feeling. And it happened a couple of other times. I can't remember who, but I would mention somebody that they would pass away. So it was it's like the angel of death a little bit. And now I've passed that moniker on to you.
Fine, but at least, I mean, we kind of had an idea that this could be coming.
I had no idea.
Gary Coleman was out of the blue that you killed him.
Completely
out of the blue.
Yep, interesting times, certainly. The Grim Reapers are here. This one's on us. This one's on us. I can't believe we missed this. But ESPN brought out the thesaurus on Thursday night during its broadcast of a college football game between Florida Atlantic and East Carolina. And while examining the stats of East Carolina quarterback Caton Hauser, the broadcast titled a graphic, how do you say this word?
Strigoformophobia.
Strigoformophobia. And strigoformophobia, for those that don't know, is the fear of owls.
It's because they played two straight owls. They played the Temple Owls and then the Florida Atlantic Owls. That's a very unusual combination to play owls in two straight games.
And how did Jesse Agler never have to weave in strigoformophobia?
I mean, that would have been a perfect incorporator word.
I guess it still could be.
Strigoformophobia.
Strigoformophobia. Thank you.
Strigoformophobia.
The fear of owls.
Yeah.
Owls are kind of scary.
They are. One flew by us recently, and it was flew by our car, and it was like, ooh. I mean, it's.
They're good to have around though because they take care of rats and mice and stuff. But again, they are kind of creepy. I think.
Yeah. I agree.
Strigoformophobia. All right, finally, do this. I will try not to kill anyone's pets today.
Mega doo-doo.
I would like to praise the Padres did something very cool yesterday to celebrate what would have been Peter Seidler's 64th birthday. They did something that Peter Seidler would have been doing himself if he was here. They assembled 1,000 care packages for unhoused San Diegans and distributed them yesterday to organizations including the Alpha Project, the San Diego Rescue Mission, Veterans Village San Diego, Urban Street Angels, the Youth Assistant Coalition, Father Joe's Villages, and the SPDPD Homeless Outreach Team had cold weather clothing, toiletries, snacks, and more for people who don't have a home right now, especially as we're getting closer to the holiday season. And it's nice to know that even though Peter is gone, that his spirit remains strong, and the Padres are carrying on that legacy through their organization and the Padres Foundation.
Yeah, and the Peter Seidler Foundation, which made me very happy as a contributor to that foundation. Love to see that from the guys yesterday. Just there's so much more work to do. So much more work to do. But great start.
And that is don't and do this for a Friday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. If you would like to join us, we talked to some Padres baseball earlier, 833-288-0973. I want to just get into potential trades, the ones you're not kind of thinking of. You know, again, not Xander Bogaerts. Not going to be traded this offseason.
It's not happening.
I'm talking about real players on the roster that A.J. Preller might surprise us and include in a deal this offseason. And I want to get your thoughts out there as well in our YouTube chat, on our social media channels, and on the phones, 833-288-0973.
This is that time of year where you always try to trade somebody that everybody loves, and then you get blamed for it all year.
And
Joe Musgrove, Jake Cronenworth.
Musgrove. And I've got another name for you coming up.
It better not be who I think it is.
Greg talked about it yesterday, so I will follow
blame
up.
him?
You can blame him.
All right, cool.
But I will bring it up when we return on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. The more I think about it, the more a trade of this one Padre in particular is making more sense to me for this offseason. He's a popular player, and you certainly wouldn't give him away for nothing. But I am starting to come around to the argument that if you can get a pretty decent haul back, there's a lot of reasons you might make this move. Know who I'm talking about? We will discuss potential surprise trade.
I have a feeling I'm going to hate you in about a minute.
For the Padres.
I think I know who it is.
Coming up after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by SDG&E. Got a couple problems in the South Bay, northbound side of the 805 at the 905. Crash involving a car and a motorcycle. It's been cleared into the center divide. Also, stalled car on the Main Street off-ramp of northbound 5. Westbound 52, our Cordell and Cordell traffic cam is showing a possible brush fire near Genesee. Some smoke visible from the right shoulder. In peak wildfire season, as the last resort, SDG&E may need to shut off power in specific areas for public safety. Learn more about public safety power shutoffs at sdge.com/PSPS. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So I just proposed, as Kelly Danick was doing her traffic, that we play 20 questions.
A rousing game of America's favorite competition. 20 questions.
I have some deja vu going on right now. I think we've
the back
done
of
this
the car,
before.
just on a long road trip. Paulie, before there were things like, iPads and phones.
Yeah.
When you went on a long road trip, you did things like 20 questions in the back of the car.
Play the license plate game.
No, Dad,
Yeah,
I do
license
not
plate
want to
game.
play the license. My kids, you know what my kids love? I spy with my little eye something green. The grass. Yep, you got it. I spy with my little eye something black. That car in front of us. It's mind-numbing. Mind-numbing.
Go back to your iPad.
Go back to your iPad. Yes.
Let me listen to whatever I want on the radio in peace.
Yes.
You stick on your iPad, we'll be fine.
Get those Cheez-Its in you in the back seat. Make sure you crumble them up, sprinkle them all over the back of Dad's freshly cleaned car. No, I said, let's play 20 questions. Ben said, well, there's only 27 guys on the roster. 26 guys on the roster. You can't just list off names. I said, I know how 20 questions works. God. The constant.
All right.
Constant Ben
Go for
explaining.
it.
All right.
See how fast you get there.
There's somebody you want to trade.
Yeah.
Is he a pitcher?
Yes.
Is he a closer?
Yes.
All right. Is it Robert Suarez?
Well done.
Fastest game
Thank
of 20
you.
questions ever.
I mean, come on. I hope you were playing along in your car.
When you think about it, Robert Suarez is scheduled to make $10 million next year on the 4-year deal that he originally signed before last season. He had a all-star type season. He is at a commodity that many teams are in need of a closer, and $10 million is not a sum that's going to scare other teams away. In
You're
fact,
right.
it's a sum that they'd go, yeah, happy to pay that and, send you back some stuff that you need in return. Padres, meanwhile, if they traded Robert Suarez, would clear some salary if they are trying to be responsible to address other needs that they have. And by the way, a couple of different factors about this. We all saw the ground that Robert Suarez gave up in the second half of the season. Wasn't anything you haven't seen from other closers in the past. And if he is back next year, I expect him to have a good season. But there were some concerning signs a little toward the end of the year with Suarez.
I think some people got more worried about Robert Suarez than I did. He hit a rough patch, Benny, and it was a location issue. And look at what he did in the playoffs.
It was just the timing of
the
that
timing
rough
of it.
patch.
Yeah, the timing of it
Coming down the stretch
was
in
not
September,
great.
you don't want that guy to be shaky.
But look what he did in the postseason. Did he give up a run in the postseason?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think
he was fantastic. I mean, and
a couple of deep fly balls, I think, but they stayed in the park.
A couple of heart racers, sure.
Yeah, stayed in the park.
Yeah.
You have other options. Jason Adam has closed. I think Jeremiah Estrada would be able to step into that role as well. You have a fairly deep bullpen. You have some arms in the minor leagues that you're excited about that you want to give an opportunity to. And finally, and I didn't realize this, I hadn't remembered it, but Craig pointed it out yesterday. Robert Suarez has an opt-out at the end of this next season as well. And there's a good chance if he has an even decent 2025 year, you're going to either lose him or have to pay him through the nose in 2026. And I don't see the Padres necessarily doing that. So if there is ever a chance to get something for Robert Suarez, reallocate his money towards somewhere else on the roster, and make that move, this would be the offseason to do it. And the more I think about it, the more it all seems to make sense to me that the Padres would, in fact, shop around and at least listen very carefully to any offer that was presented that involved Robert Suarez this offseason.
Adam, our boss, says if the Padres, who are a contender, don't want Suarez, why would another contender want him? And I think it's not that they don't want him.
I mean, last offseason, the Padres, a contender, didn't want Juan Soto, but apparently the Yankees did want him. I don't think that's an argument.
It's more about...
We're not saying that Suarez is a bad player who deserves to be
exiled
and you're getting him
yeah.
off the roster. He has value. That's what makes him an intriguing trade possibility.
It's money and value and prospects.
But not so much money that you'd have to give him away for nothing.
Correct.
It's a reasonable salary for an all-star closer, and it's one that I think a team that's desperate for bullpen help, which a lot of teams are, would be willing not only to pay the salary, but pay in prospects, pay in maybe a guy who could be in the back end of your rotation. There's a lot of things you could get for Robert Suarez that might have more value to the San Diego Padres than another bullpen arm at the end of the season here. And I will also say, Craig and Annie made a great point that, all right, you give up Robert Suarez. Let's say you do have a couple of issues at the back end of your bullpen in July. There's
trade for a closer.
There's always a closer available. A team that's not doing well but has a great closer that is on an expiring contract. One of the easiest things to pick up
no doubt.
At the trade deadline in baseball.
No doubt.
And you can always just have that plan for the last 2 months of the year to pick up another arm at the back end of your bullpen. You're probably going to do it anyway. So I don't know. I think there were a lot of good reasons that you would definitely explore a Robert Suarez trade.
But again, just a reminder to the general populace out there that when you're going to trade somebody, it isn't just piecing together like the 4 worst players on your team and trading them to somebody for a really good player. All right, so just if you can keep that, I don't want to preach to you. I don't want to get on my soapbox.
Jeremy says Ben's always trying to trade away our best players. Yeah, that's because they're the ones that have trade value, and I want to get stuff back. I don't want to get nothing back. I want to get stuff back that's going to help the Padres. So I know I have to dangle something of value to do that.
You're not going to get that starter that you mentioned or that extra bat by dangling a Brett Sullivan out there. I love Sully, or Booty, as he's affectionately referred to. I love Booty. But he's not going to command a 4th starter and a prospect. He's just not. You got to give something to get something. So, again.
And Robert Suarez is something. He's not nothing. He is something. He throws 100. He has done it before. He has been an all-star level closer. That is something that other teams will want and will value.
He's a commodity, to be sure. And listen, on a team with not a whole hell of a lot of movable commodities, I think that's definitely an interesting one. Jay says, can we trade Ben Higgins, sports radio host, for Ben Higgins, Bachelor contestant? No.
That would be a bad trade.
That'd be it. Ben is not going to get that kind of value back. You're going to have to throw something else in.
I agree.
What else do we have to package with you to get him?
Adam.
Done. It's sold. I am on the phone right now.
Adam and Ben Higgins for Ben Higgins.
Pack your bags. Still do Ben and Woods.
Yeah.
Has
there ever been a trade in Major League Baseball where 2 guys with the same name were traded for each other?
The same exact name?
Yeah, like Bobby Jones
Smith.
traded for Bobby Jones.
That's a good question.
There have been pitchers and players that have shared similar names, but have they ever been traded for each other?
That's interesting.
Who are the players who traded families?
Wives,
swapped wives,
he's a
and
Rockies
kids.
fan?
And
I did.
Who was that?
It was Kikich, like Fritz.
You did a rabbit hole on this, a few years ago.
It didn't work out very well.
No, it didn't.
But
the story was they were like teammates, and
they said, "You take my wife, and I'll take yours."
We'll just swap.
Yeah,
families entirely.
70s and 80s, man.
Wives, kids, lives,
different.
Just swap them. We'll both be happier this way. They just thought it's a win-win trade, but it didn't work out.
Carlos says we might have to throw Kelly Danick in that trade. Kelly Danick's not going anywhere. Kelly Danick's staying right here.
Statue contract.
She's a franchise player.
She is a franchise player. We'll go Ben Higgins, Adam Klug. Yeah, and we'll call
A
it.
couple of 97.3 T-shirts.
And some Ben and Wood stickers. Yeah, I listen, if you're gonna
let me just say this. You can't afford Ben Higgins. And when I say you can't afford Ben Higgins, I don't mean me.
Yeah, the other one makes a lot
I mean
of
the
money.
other one.
Makes a lot of money. Like $30,000 a month to do a podcast.
He's a Rockies fan, so he's at least familiar with the NL West.
Okay.
I think it could be a good fit.
You have
We
to-
don't have to change any of our branding. It's still Ben Higgins.
You're going to have to waive your no trade clause. Will you do that? You'd
Probably
pull an Eric Hosmer at the last moment. No, I think when when you want to have an active off season, and maybe you need to tighten the purse strings, as it's been reported. What was the number that AC said? 200 to 210. And again, that they could go over that. That could just be the jumping off point. Doesn't leave them a lot of room to play with.
We said AJ is planning to come back to San Diego next week and sit down with Eric Katsenda and Eric Grubner and really kind of map out what will payroll look like. What is our budget?
Well, I think the people that make those decisions will give him a number, and then I think AJ has the reign to be able to come back in and say, what if I could do this and get this for this? Can we go over? Yes or no, whatever it may be.
Yeah,
So,
right now Spot Track already has the Padres projected at 205
we
before
have
they do anything.
A robust
so.
$5 million to play with, and yeah, you got to trade some guys. Sucks, but it is what it is. What can we get for $5 million? The old bargain bin to build a contender. AJ, good luck, my friend.
Is there any
David
other
Peralta.
names that you think could be potentially on the trade block this offseason?
Look, this team has players that other teams would trade for. They have Fernando Tatis Jr. and a pretty decent contract. They would trade you whatever to get a player
I
of
do
his
not
caliber.
anticipate Fernando Tatis
that.
Jr. to be traded.
I do not want that to happen. That would be one of the dumber franchise crippling moves, in my opinion, that you could do.
We've talked about Dylan Cease and Michael King.
Talked about them ad
both
nauseum.
going in.
Yep.
If you're not going to re-sign them to long-term contract extensions, then you absolutely listen on both of those guys. Although I think we all have generally come around to the consensus that you are trying to win in 2025. You need pitching. You probably have to keep those guys if possible in order to have your best chance of winning in 2025.
Fangraphs has the estimated payroll at 211, roughly. I'll call it 212. So that leaves you, what did they say, 200 to 210? So that means they're over already. But again, it's not going to be. I don't think it can't be 200 to 210. So AJ will have to get creative, and this is the question of the offseason, really, right here in the chat from Jay. How can they slash payroll again with all of this fan support?
No, they actually would be massively increasing payroll. Payroll last year was only about 150 to 160.
Yeah.
So it's going up 50 million, but it's going up to already pay for the players you have.
That you have.
That's the thing. As a
So
fan,
would that be spin from the team? Hey,
not
if they
spin. It's true. I mean, the
But
payroll
it's
is going up
misleading.
next year by quite a bit.
But you didn't
it's
add
not,
anybody.
It's not going to
It's
add
misleading.
anybody. It's going to pay for things that you've already bought, essentially, that are getting more expensive.
That is a Ben Higgins argument. Me and Ben would go round and round about that. He would say, payroll went up $50 million. And say, who did we add? No one. We added no one.
Oh, you mean these are all previously agreed upon
Correct.
contracts?
Yes, you
that's not
still
the
have to
same.
pay for the players that you have previously
I don't count that as
signed.
raising payroll. I
But
do not
not
count
at
it.
all.
Is the payroll raising? Yes, it is. Who are we adding? Nobody. We're actually losing players. So yeah, pass. I can't do that. I cannot do that. That's gaslighting at its finest, as Michael says. Now again, Michael, don't get mad yet. Don't get mad yet. We haven't seen anything yet. Let's see how it shakes out. I know that's not the right way to do it. I know it's sports radio. We can't do it that way. But we have to see what it looks like and how it shakes out. Benflation, Chris says.
Yeah, it is a truth that fans don't really care what the payroll is. They say, well, we need the payroll to increase. I promise you, if they slashed payroll by 50% but added 7-star players, you'd be fine with that.
You'd be
you don't,
elated.
you don't care what the payroll is. You want more big-time players and all-stars and
They're
big
gonna help
names
you
on your
win.
team.
100%.
Now, usually it does require spending more to bring those players in. This is the opposite, though. This is you are spending more and not bringing anyone else in.
Mario wants to know, are we done paying freaking Hosmer? We are not.
No.
No, we're not. One more season to paying him to
When we come back for our first show of January, I will celebrate the final year that the Padres will be paying Eric Hosmer. Hey, we have finally gotten to the end of the contract, the last year of it in 2025.
Is that $39 million since he's played?
Yeah, 13 per year for the last 2 years, and then one more year after this. A total of
For a team
$39
that's
million.
trying to improve on the margins
For nothing.
and do so relatively cheaply, how nice would $13 million be?
Well, and again, I mean,
Well,
if
you
I'm
could pay for Robert Suarez. You wouldn't have to trade him.
I'm telling you, if I'm paying somebody $13 million, they're going to be at spring training hitting fungos, shagging, mowing the lawn, doing something. 13 milli to sit and do a podcast and just rip everybody. It's just amazing. So, yeah, 39 mil. Look, every team has this dead money. It sucks when it's your team, but every team's got it.
By the way, he is not employed by the Padres,
No.
even though they pay him. Once they released him, he's not under any obligation to show up,
hit fungos,
do anything. He is not employed. The contract just has to be paid out at the end, but he is no longer an employee of the team. Just to be clear.
Satan says he should be throwing fans beers in the stands. 100%.
He could do that if he wanted,
yeah,
but he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
It's not how it works. All right. I do think
that's a depressing
I
segment.
do think that, like last year, if someone calls asking about another member of the bullpen, like Steven Wilson was, you're gonna if you get something back you like, you certainly would talk about some of those guys, but otherwise, I think Robert Suarez is the main possibility. All right, we'll come back with Woods' story next.
No. All right, we're halfway home on a Friday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Thanks so much for being here. Hope you continue to stay here after this next segment. But I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Ben Higgins is your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. Joins us as well.
That was very ominous.
Yeah. Well, I have to apologize. I have to apologize to Megan Reindl. I have to apologize to Hannah Nancaro Woods. I often will take, and anyone out there that watches trash reality TV shows as much as they do. Your wife's huge into it. My wife is. I'm not. And I look at it. For my personal opinion is like, man, this is like the worst of the worst. And our buddy Matt Janella is like right in the middle of it.
He's
right
on.
He's on it.
The trashiest of the trash reality shows.
Real Housewives, right?
Yes, he is the Real House husband of Orange County.
Right. And so, but there are people that live and die with this stuff. That's fine. That's your thing. It's not my thing. I, frankly, have gotten caught up for, an hour here and there and gone, what is this guy? This guy lives where? And he's trying to marry this woman, and he wants a green card, and that's why they're doing this. Are they really in love? That's really where it starts and stops. My wife watches every single one of them. And for me, I'm like, oh, man, I would much rather learn about some new band or some new movie or whatever. I'm more of that era. But I have to apologize because I kind of get it now. As I fell down this rabbit hole last night for 2 hours. Ben, do you know the name Zach Bryan?
Yes, country music's Zach Bryan.
Correct. Very, very talented guy and had a huge year.
Why are all country artists' names so similar? There's Zach Bryan, there's Luke Bryan, there's Zach Brown. There's
I don't know.
They're very hard to keep track of. I couldn't tell you which songs each one has, but I know they're all country music artists.
Well, so I started seeing some clips come out yesterday about a breakup that he's going through. And again, I typically don't really care about these things. But I don't know why I clicked on it, but I did. And it's his ex, and her name is Brianna LaPaglia, but she goes by Brianna Chicken Fry. Don't know why. And I started listening to a podcast that she did. And basically spilling a lot of the tea about their breakup. And I remember when it happened, I went, oh, that's a bummer. I mean, I didn't really care that much. It's Zach Bryan. But I fell into this rabbit hole last night and I listened to an entire podcast, hour and a half.
My God.
About this. It was Barstool's BFF podcast. I'm also not a Barstool guy. It's I'm a little bit old. I'm a little bit older,
She hosts that show.
And she was on it talking about this breakup. And for whatever reason, I watched her little clip, and I said, well, I have to go listen to this. And I went and I turned the football game off to go listen to the BFF podcast, and I'm quite embarrassed by it. But I was fascinated and riveted, and I couldn't stop.
So this is
texted me at 7:55 p.m.
Usually, by the way, what am I doing at 7:55 p.m.?
Going to bed.
I'm in bed. I'm going to sleep.
He said, I'm listening to this podcast with Brianna Chicken Fry about Zach Bryan. Not sure what the F my problem is.
Correct. That's how I started.
So obviously,
What?
this isn't just the normal breakup. Hey, it was fun, but things just aren't working out. We're going to go our separate ways. There's more to this story, obviously.
So much more.
Okay.
So much more. Now,
But also
not really. Not really. Well, it was more than originally when it came out. She said I was blindsided. I was devastated and blindsided. Right. And
people get dumped. They don't know why. They don't understand it.
And he had posted some Instagram thing, and she said, well, that's how I found out originally. That's how I found out about our breakup. And I'm like, So I went and listened to her podcast, and I go, no, you knew about it. And she's, being really forthcoming with all this stuff. But my main takeaway from it, after listening to it all, is I said, I'm so glad that this stuff didn't exist when I was in my 20s. And somebody would actually go on the podcast and be like, so listen to what he did. You know what I mean? I feel like I really dodged a bullet in all of this. And I listened to this for an hour and a half. And I feel bad for her because she's so upset.
Welcome back to Deep in the Woods. It's the podcast about Stephen Woods and his love life.
And but the most interesting part, dude, is that he asked her, his team, asked her to sign an NDA for $12 million. And she had to grapple with this for a week. And the whole thing was about...
So she gets $12 million, and all she has to do is not talk about him and the breakup.
Correct.
Easiest $12 million you'd ever make.
That's what you'd say,
Does anyone
right?
want me to sign an NDA? I'm more than happy to do so.
So you say that.
About anything.
So, but then I started thinking, well, what kind of stuff went on for $12 million? You know what I mean? Like,
a lot of money.
That's a lot of dough. And so it was actually kind of interesting, her thought process on the whole thing.
I saw just the clip that you probably the same one that you went then and listened to the whole podcast, and it was he bought a house for her, for both of them?
Both of them to live in.
And she could have stayed in the house? Something about the house?
Stayed in the house. We're going to give her a house. We're going to give her a New York apartment and $12 million. And she basically said, I'm not taking your blood money, which I thought was pretty admirable. Now, she said, I don't know what kind of career I'm going to have. In 5 years, am I going to look, I'm Brianna Chicken Fry. Am I going to go back in 3 years and be like, oh, my God, I turned down $12 million?
I would think yes is the answer
just to
that
keep
question,
my mouth shut.
yeah.
But she keeps
How much does a Barstool successful podcast host make?
I don't know. But, I mean, that's a lot of dough. It's a good lump sum payment. So, I don't know, man. I got deep into this thing. But I listened to it, and I went, but think about it, Benny. What's your soul worth? You know? And she goes, I really want to sit here.
Less than $12 million. Just personally.
For $1,400.
Charisma says in the chat, I wouldn't be surprised if Portnoy was like, I'll just give you the $12 million not to sign it and then talk about it on our platform.
It's crazy.
All right, so what
I could see that.
What did she say? I mean, what do we know? What do we know?
She turned it down. She
Right.
said, I'm not.
But she didn't.
I'm not
Did she
taking it.
violate the NDA yet? What does she say?
Oh, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, well, she didn't sign it.
Right.
She's not going to sign it. So there is no violation.
she can't violate
She
it
can't
if she didn't
violate
sign
if
it.
she didn't sign it. She's not going to get the money.
Okay, fine. She didn't sign it. What was so pressing that she needed to get off her heart that it was worth not taking $12 million that she had to say about
She
it?
wanted to just be able to speak her experience. And
Right.
which, again, I listened to it all and I went, you guys broke up. And it didn't sound like she talks about like some emotional abuse. Look, he's 28, a multimillionaire. She's 25. It was like two young people breaking up is what I heard. And I just went, holy crap, dude. I can't. Like, I spent an hour and a half listening to this. Now, I'll probably go follow up today and listen to more. And I think I'm in all the way on this. But I listened to it and I just went, man, this is a different world where somebody's breakup, your personal life is just, I'm pretty open
You have
with
to
my
put out a statement.
Yeah, I'm pretty open with my personal life. It was gnarly. Like, listening to it was gnarly. So, do you turn down $12 million? You don't, do you?
I don't.
You take the money.
You know, Tony says she has integrity. Integrity is worth $12 million. I don't know that anyone's asking her to sacrifice her integrity.
But if you can't speak about your truth and what happened for money, that's
You almost have to like walk away. Take the 12 and walk away because you can't come back to your show, your platform, your podcast, and just not talk
But
about
most people, I don't know most people, but certainly a large segment of people, I would be one of them. I wouldn't talk about previous relationships
anyway.
Anyway.
But you don't host a podcast about your relationship.
True. But, I think discretion is always a good choice and is not, I don't think you're losing integrity by not talking about and spilling details about a relationship that went bad. That doesn't mean you lack integrity. Well, she's not telling us all the dirt about what went on behind the relationship. It's actually, there's kind of less integrity when you air it out for everybody. I feel like there's more integrity of just, all right, this is private and I'm keeping it private, and that's fine. That's not that's showing a lack of integrity.
That's taking money for it is. Keeping it private is, hey, guys, I'm not going to spill the details of my relationship. I'm keeping it private. You're keeping it private because you took $12 million to keep it private. I don't know how, what's the word? I don't know how much integrity is in that. You're paying me off to not talk. Anyway, it was fascinating. It was fascinating, and I apologize to Megan and Hannah and everybody else I've made fun of because I get it. I kind of get it now. Have you watched any of The Real Housewives?
I have not. Our chat is going pretty strong on some of the things that have popped up. I did see the clip where our friend Matty Janella got
into
yelled at
Yeah.
by one of the big time housewives last week on an episode.
I wouldn't mess with Matty Janella.
No, but he seemed a little confused by the whole thing. Like, why are you yelling at me? I didn't do anything. What did I do? And apparently they did get into one of the housewives' boyfriends was involved in the Ipe.
Oh yes,
Shohei
they talked about that
gambling, and apparently that popped up last night as well. His involvement in being like the money guy behind Ipe's bookie, essentially, in part of that. So that popped up on the show as well. Yeah, they have no problem creating dramatic storylines, apparently, on The Real Housewives.
Well, and the thing about this one, though, is that now he's pissed off Dave Portnoy, who is the most petty human alive, and he's going. I mean,
Zach Bryan has.
Zach Bryan has.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and it's the drama from this is not going to end. So gives me something to watch.
So Dave Portnoy was part of a disc track.
They did a disc track, and then Warner Music took it down immediately. Look, Zach Bryan, I'm not the world's biggest fan. I think he's a pretty talented dude. But I read it and I was like, oh yeah, you were an idiot. You're an idiot, 28-year-old, no question.
He just released a song. What's
called The High Road.
Today's the 8th, so yesterday. High Road.
High Road. It's like rap beef, but not. So it was
not body like a high road.
Body no, no, not body like a high road.
It was like this summer we had Drake and Kendrick Lamar,
and now we have
Brianna Chicken Fry and Zach Bryan. What was that post you told me about like a week ago or 2 weeks ago? It was like,
oh yeah.
So you're telling me
my wife just told me
there's Zach Bryan who's different from Zach Brown who has a song called Chicken Fried, but it's not Zach Bryan who's dating somebody named Brianna Chicken Fry.
It's so good. Dude.
There's also Kane Brown and Luke Bryan. And,
yes,
I mean,
yes. Look, I got hooked. I mean, it got me. I was hook, line, and sinker. And I'm texting Paulie going, I just don't understand what, they broke up. It's a bad breakup. He said, I can't do this anymore, right? Which is always they've been together a year. I can't do this anymore. She's like, are you effing kidding me? I've changed my whole life for you. Then he goes out and parties for a few days, and then he's like, no, never mind, I need you. And she says, okay, I'll come back. And then he's like, no, actually, I don't want to do this. I'm like, he led a girl on and messed with her and, broke her heart, and now he's toast.
I mean, there's very few relationships that are just totally cool with how they end.
Correct,
I mean,
correct. Hey, love you.
You know what? I agree.
See you later.
We had a great time, but we're both ready for it to be done. What a fantastic breakup this has been.
Yeah.
It rarely goes that way.
Juan goes, a man that doesn't know what he wants. Of course, that's it. 28-year-old man has no idea what he really wants in life. And I listened to this and I went, this guy's toast. I mean, he's toast. So I'm embarrassed.
My wife explained to me that Zach Brown, Zach Bryan, and Luke Bryan are three completely different people who happen to work in the exact same industry.
Yep.
And the one who dated a girl named Chicken Fry had nothing to do with the song called Chicken Fried, and I have brain bleed.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and again, it takes some men and women a long time to mature. He's not there yet. He as much as he did he's a love bomber, right? The love bombing, you know what love bombing is?
No.
Meet somebody, you fall head over heels. Oh my God, I love you, my soulmate. We're going to be together forever. I can't believe this. Let's buy a house. We're going to move in. And then about a year in, you go, uh-oh, I think I screwed up. Right? You love bomb. It's just and then after that, it goes south, and that's what happened here. So
because I saw that he posted a while back, the statement or whatever, announcing the breakup, and he said, "She has loved me unconditionally for a long time, and I'll always thank her. I have had an incredibly hard year personally and struggled through some pretty severe things. I thought it would be beneficial for both of us to go our different ways."
Then they found homie on a dating site that night after he posted that. So, I mean, he's an immature idiot, and that's what happened. But he's on blast now, and it's over. Listen to how I'm talking. I'm a 49-year-old man. All right.
Do we want to talk bad breakups and open the phone lines?
I'm all in on that. But that was... I couldn't believe that I got so hooked on it. So I apologize.
When you were texting me, I was like, yeah, totally.
Yeah, totally.
I don't.
Paulie's like, I don't care about this.
I was like, it would be It would make more sense if I was trying to explain maybe that situation to you, and you were explaining it to me.
If you did it to me, my eyes would have glazed over.
And I was just like, no, what?
Yeah, Paul said, no way.
No way.
Are you kidding?
And then you're like, no, you don't understand, bro. Like, look, listen to this clip.
I'm embarrassed.
Whoa.
Well, while you continue on your rabbit hole, we're actually going to a movie tonight.
What movie?
We're going to see Conclave. Have you heard of that one?
I have not.
Stanley Tucci's in it. Love him. Ray Fiennes.
What is that horrible Stanley Tucci movie you recommended? The one movie he recommended.
Big Night.
Oh, my God.
Love that movie.
Big Turd is
This
more
is
like
about like the selecting of a new pope and conclave and kind of the drama and behind the scenes, apparently. Deep secrets.
You will fall asleep within the first 30 minutes.
We're going at 5 o'clock, so hopefully I won't fall asleep at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
But we already have our tickets.
Tyler says it's good. Are you going to the fancy movie theater?
We're going to one of the fancy movie theaters, yes. There really are very few non-fancy movie theaters nowadays.
Conclave was really good. Everyone's saying it's really good. I
Okay,
like
good.
Stanley Tucci, but that movie you recommended was a turd.
I disagree with
Big
you.
Turd is what it was called.
Big Night.
Big Taint.
Tony Shalhoub, Stanley Tucci.
Is horrific. Horrific.
Minnie Driver.
Oh, it was horrible.
It's such a good movie.
It was so bad.
Such a good movie.
Oh, my God.
We'll fight about this when we come back. More Ben and Woods after traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino, fun above all else.
Have a little minor, unsurprising baseball news breaking during the last couple of minutes. The New York Yankees have exercised their option for manager Aaron Boone to return in 2025.
Wow.
Didn't realize that there was ever a possibility of him not returning in 2025, but now it is official. He will be back.
So that's a 1 year?
One more year.
Lame dog.
I was told that we weren't supposed to do that, especially coming off a World Series season. Padres didn't even make the World Series. They didn't even make the League Championship Series, but they felt it was important to extend Mike Schilt. We talked to the skipper yesterday and discussed his contract extension. Aaron Boone doesn't get one. Is that more telling that he's not getting one about how they feel about him than say, hey, we're happy with Aaron Boone. That's why we're picking up his contract option. Well, if you really were happy with him,
you would extend him.
You would be giving him a contract extension, and that has not happened. And Brian Cashman has indicated it's not a priority either for the Yankees.
Brian Cashman also gaslit the hell out of the media last week. I think it was at the GM meetings actually this week, and they were talking to him about he's got some guys on his squad that are interviewing in other places, and one of the guys is like his base running coordinator. And he said, well, we'd hate to lose him. We are one of the best base running teams on the planet, and that's just not the case. And all the Dodgers were coming out and talking about how poor they are at base running and defense.
The team in which your own play-by-play announcer, John Sterling, says that you run around like drunks on the base paths. And, well, that's just what we do, is running around like drunks.
It is weird, to have Brian Cashman. It's weird that, Brian Cashman wasn't like, yeah, we need to clean up our defense. Yeah, we need to clean up our base running. It's very, very strange to have a GM tell the public that when the public goes, we watched the games, we saw exactly what happened.
It's not a mystery, though. Executives will sometimes be very forthcoming and outright and honest when it serves their interest to be so.
Correct.
And when it serves their interest to be deceptive and gaslighting, then they'll go that way. And if for whatever reason Brian Cashman knows, well, we're not actually making a change, so now we better make it seem like we're really happy with everything. But if they're about to make a change, all of a sudden you'll hear, yeah, we felt like we needed, it was an area of concern for us, and we've decided to address it. That's how they think when, speaking to the public. Their words will reflect their self-interest in what, they want you to hear based on decisions they probably already made.
Don't you lose so much? You're talking about integrity. Don't you lose so much integrity and credibility when you get in front of the media and you say, I know what you saw, but what you saw isn't actually right. We are a really elite team at running the bags. When everyone goes, no, you're not. And in fact, the team that whipped your ass in the World Series says, it's one of the biggest deficiencies we saw in them is that they don't take good leads. They don't take secondary leads. They're horrible base runners.
Do you lose integrity?
Shouldn't you?
Maybe, but it's not really a prerequisite for the job.
Fair.
It's you're not trying to get you're not trying to win people over. You're trying to win games. And if that requires lying and being somewhat unscrupulous and lacking integrity, do we think Bill Belichick was a paragon of integrity?
I just don't think he gave you anything. I don't think he gave you anything one way or the other.
Spygate and Deflategate, and it wasn't an organization noted for integrity. It was an organization noted for winning, and ultimately, fans would rather have an organization that wins and you may not feel that great about how they do it, rather than one that, boy, I love how well our team, relates in the community. I love, how honest and what great citizens they are. It's a good thing to have. Peter Seidler, you felt pretty good about rooting for the San Diego Padres with Peter Seidler as the owner because of the kind of person that he was. Promise you, though, if the Padres were going 68 and 92 or 90 whatever with Peter Seidler, it's not gonna be that much of a salve as a Padres fan. Well, yeah, we may be one of the worst teams in baseball,
but we're good guys.
We got a great owner who's a really great guy.
Michael asked a great question, and I think we've answered it. He says, do you think Schilt lost integrity after doing that all season? Yeah, to us, but not to his players. And again, we've said this like a mantra. I don't know what happened behind closed doors, but yeah, there would be times that we'd talk to Schilt or he'd do the post game, and it's like, well, we know what we saw. You can't tell me. I'm looking outside. The sky right now is as blue as I've ever seen it. Paulie turns around and goes, that's not blue, dude. That's red. I'm like, bro, I'm looking at a blue sky. It's not. It's red. You're out of your mind. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't even know colors, man. You're an idiot. It's blue. It is blue. God, it's beautiful blue. And so, yeah, I think the answer, Michael, is yes, but only to us. As long as he has his players back and they play hard for him, I really don't care.
I think as sports fans, we can also respect a good lie every now and then that's in service of
chemistry and for the greater
or
good.
Even strategy. Shohei Ohtani playing the last 3 games of the World Series with a torn labrum. Dodgers certainly weren't going to say, "Oh, he's got a torn labrum. We're going to keep him out there. He's going to be completely ineffective over these next 3 games." You'd be crazy to walk him because there's very little chance he's going to get hits. His power is going to be way down. No, they're going to downplay the injury and put him out there as a threat and see if he can draw some walks, get him on base a few times. But they knew that at that moment, they no longer had Shohei Ohtani. They had someone wearing Shohei Ohtani's uniform who is now a very mortal baseball player other than the fear that he instilled into the other team. And the only way they could do that was by lying about what truly was wrong with Shohei Ohtani. Otherwise, they could have just benched him. They could have, shut him down and ended the World Series without Shohei Ohtani and probably had a more effective player out there. But they decided that the mystique of Shohei Ohtani was worth more than a healthy player that could have been in there instead of him.
Yeah, I can dig that. That's gamesmanship. That's just it's interesting. Yeah, Michael says, I guess that answers your question then about the Yankees saying they're a good base running team. It ends up not mattering. I think my point was, it's weird to hear that from Brian Cashman to Yankee fans. Like that is different. It's different than San Diego. It just is. It is. I mean, they know what they saw, and we knew what we saw.
We also know what we see.
Yeah, we know what we saw.
We're not different from baseball fans in New York in that.
But he's been there 30 years and has been, I'd say, more forthright before than he is now. Does that make sense? It's different for him. This is our first year of Schulte. I expect nothing but the same next year, by the way. Hey, so what happened there? Nothing. It's all good. Oh, okay. So he dropped that ball. Yeah, he didn't drop it. Ball came out of his glove. It's different.
It's different.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. It's interesting. Yeah, lies are okay. Ben Higgins. Little white lies.
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, there is a point where if your organization is simply built on a house of cards and nothing but lies, probably not a good thing for your team.
It's fair enough.
But occasionally, yes, you're going to play fast and loose with the truth as a professional sports organization. Okay. Take your time out. Phones are open, 833-288-0973. You've got your own Padres trade proposals that aren't insane. Please share them with us.
Or your insane ones are good,
that's
too.
true. That's kind of fun as well. 833-288-0973. San Diego Wave did something yesterday that I don't think it's big news, but I can't even imagine what would happen if this was going on in other sports. Can bring that up as well. Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Woods wants your most insane Padres
I don't,
trade proposals.
Something
The
that makes
ones
sense.
that make us question your sanity. Have you committed? 833-288-0973. I know it's probably not going to resonate huge. It's the offseason just started. It's the NWSL. But the San Diego Wave announced something yesterday that I thought was kind of interesting, Woods. I just want to bring it up quickly. They signed a college player named Trinity Byers out of Stanford. Really good college player. What makes this interesting is that this is the first signing in the league and really in like North American professional sports after doing away with their draft. The NWSL is the first league that has said, we're not doing a draft anymore. If you're coming out of college, you're just a free agent like every other player.
That's right.
And the
I'd
Wave
forgotten
went out
about
and
that.
signed. Okay, well, she's like the best college soccer player. We're just going to sign her now. And, she obviously is going to make more than she probably would have if he had just been drafted and couldn't negotiate with any other team. But she went out there and negotiated. Imagine if all of a sudden the NFL said, you know what, we're not going to do a draft anymore. And all those college quarterbacks, you're just free agents. As soon
Do you
as
have
you're
to go to college?
You don't have to go to college, but if you
Like,
are
if you're a really good high school female
school.
soccer player, can you just forego college and become a free agent?
I would think so.
Yeah,
yes,
probably.
I would imagine you can.
Don't they sign like 12-year-olds?
Just whenever
and
you
stuff in
whenever
soccer?
you say you're eligible, you're ready,
I'm ready.
then you go sign. Now, if you say you're ready at 12, if you're good, you might have a lot of interest, but they might not be ready to give you
Money.
a lot of money. But, with this Trinity Byers case, she was very well proven on the college level and signed her for a 3-year contract with a mutual option. I'm sure, contract not disclosed terms, but I'm sure she did quite well.
So it's like you said, everybody's a free agent. It's funny because Paulie and I had a combo on the phone yesterday about how so the NWSL season is over, correct? They've crowned a champion and everything, yeah?
Correct.
So
No, they're just in the playoffs.
they're in the
now.
playoffs.
Yeah, they're in the playoffs.
So they're in,
Wave season's over.
right.
So
Wave
the
season's
wave
over. They
season's
didn't
over.
make the playoffs, but they're starting the NWSL playoffs.
So they're in the playoffs. Playoffs are still going on. Teams are signing players for next year's roster.
Correct.
Could you imagine if the sport that we love so much actually did things like that and signed free agents like
like Paul Skeens last year.
Other sports.
If there wasn't a draft and Paul Skeens was simply a free agent,
LA Dodger.
what the difference that would look like.
Yeah, he wouldn't be a Pirate. I love Paul Skeens.
Love Paul Skeens. Yeah,
But
he would not be a Pittsburgh Pirate.
He would not
There's
be a
no
Pittsburgh
chance he would be a Pittsburgh Pirate.
Would anyone ever be a Pittsburgh Pirate?
We were bitching about how slow Major League Baseball's
Yes.
offseason can be, and I go, dude, I know you're starting to come around on basketball a lot more lately, but what can Major League Baseball, and quite frankly, every sport
Would Wemby be a San Antonio Spur?
What is a San Antonio Spur?
Would
What in
Wemby
the
be a
world?
San Antonio Spur? No, he would not be a San Antonio Spur if not for the NBA draft.
San Antonio.
The point was
baseball
July
needs
1st.
to get off their ass and do some math with some of these players and get guys signed. Like in the NBA, Juan Soto's on a team.
Day one. At midnight, July 1st.
If Major League Baseball worked like the NBA, Juan Soto would have signed his contract. Agree or disagree?
And the other top 10 free agents
Corbin
would all
Burns
have
on a
contracts.
team.
Blake Snell, we know
on
where
a
he's
team.
at.
It's unbelievable. It's truly, truly amazing. Here's Major League Baseball, just molasses.
But I don't think you want to distract from your playoffs.
Playoffs
with a
are
bunch
over.
of signings.
World Series is
I know
over.
now, but like they shouldn't open free agency the day the regular season ends.
NBA does it. It's like a week and a half after the finals.
Yeah, it's after the finals.
Yeah.
This is,
So-
in
okay,
women's soccer, they're not even
women's
done
soc-
with the
They're not
playoffs
even done
yet.
with the playoffs, that's actually kind of cool. But take it out. All right, fine. We're not going to do it during the World Series, obviously.
November 10th deadline.
Yeah.
Like that free agency begins. Like how can Major League Baseball copy from the NBA to get it more like that? Where at 12:01 on July 1st, like Shams Charania is like, here's a $300 million contract. Here's
another
a
one.
$200
I mean,
million
we talked about it earlier this week. A salary cap. When there's a salary cap and you know that every team is going to spend up to it, guess what? There's a lot of competition for players that are free agents. You have many teams that are willing, hey, we'll offer you the max. And then 7 other teams also say, we'll also offer you the max and we'll offer you the max. So players immediuld get offers because
with baseball, they're just waiting it
with
out.
baseball, they just wait it out. Like, well, Yankees could always offer more. There's no salary cap. Why would I rush to sign a deal when there's another team who could pop in and then offer me even more and more? In the NBA, you're not getting a higher contract than the one that you were offered at 12:01 on the day that free agency opened. You were offered a max contract,
Yeah.
probably by multiple teams. So now you just decide which team you want to go to. In baseball, there is no max contract. So you wait and see, maybe I can get more. Maybe I can get more than that. Why would you sign when you maybe cutting yourself a little bit short,
Yeah.
selling yourself short by signing early.
Well, and we know that you will cut yourself short and sell yourself short if you wait as well. We've seen it. We've seen it with some of the bigger stars in baseball over the last couple of years. So it is interesting. I mean, look, it doesn't have to be the day after the World Series ends. It doesn't even have to be the week after the World Series ends. But in my opinion,
it is. Free agency is open.
Yeah.
They could Juan Soto could sign a $700 million deal today. Could have signed it yesterday. Could have signed it on Monday.
Yep.
The day he became a free agent. He's not going to though, because he doesn't think that's in his best interest.
For sure.
And then when he doesn't sign, that slows up the process for everybody else, because the Yankees may be offering, the Mets may be offering, but until they know if they're getting Juan Soto, they can't plan the rest of their offseason, because your plan, if you sign Juan Soto, is completely different than the plan if you don't. Oh, all of a sudden we have another $700 million we can sign other players to. But until Juan decides, you're just in limbo.
Everyone just
so
waits.
Nothing happens until he happens. There will be some moves from teams that aren't interested in Juan Soto and players that go, I know I'm not getting that kind of money, but a lot of it is dependent on where he goes before everybody else decides.
Now, you saw the list of teams that have already checked in on Juan Soto. Did you see the one that jumped off the page?
I did.
The Tampa Bay Rays have they've called Scott Boras to
Doing
inquire.
their due diligence.
Somebody tweeted, "I have inquired about Sydney Sweeney." I mean, why not, right? Like, if they're going to inquire
what do you
about
offer?
him.
If you're the Tampa Bay Rays, you go, Juan Soto, we are offering you, the Tampa Bay Rays,
Literally,
to play for the Tampa Bay Rays, because we're about valued at the same as your entire contract's going to be.
Now, Juan, listen, we don't currently have a roof on our building. Not currently. We do have funding for a new stadium. It's going to be a while.
Yeah.
It is roofless, just so you know. If you're cool,
We might be playing in spring training stadiums.
we could be
for the next
on
3
the road
years.
playing in spring training stadiums. We don't currently, again, have a roof on our stadium, but we really are interested in you hitting in the middle of our lineup. So just
We will
something.
rebrand as the Tampa Bay Juan Sotos.
Yeah, the Tampa Bay Sotos. We are just very interested in you, because why wouldn't we be? That is a total gaslight to the fans, right? If you're a Rays fan, you're furious, aren't you? That they even put that out. You don't want that out there.
Oh, yeah, we called on Juan
Hey,
Soto.
will you let them know that we actually did call Boris about Juan Soto?
4
today?
years, $113 million. Juan, what do you think? Juan, you would be the highest paid Ray
In
in
history.
franchise history if you take this deal. How does that sound?
Is there any scenario where Soto signs like a 5 or a 6 year deal for maybe $60 million a year and
Maybe.
then takes another crack at it? Or like everyone's saying
13, 14 year
12,
deal.
13,
I don't
14
know.
So
years.
he
Is
is,
that really the new thing for
He's
the
going to be
superstars?
26 next year.
Jared says it's widely known that the Rays offered the most for Freddie Freeman. I did not know that. I did not remember that scene at all.
I mean, they did spend a good deal of money on Wander Franco.
You'd think they'd be a little more gun shy.
Oh, they are.
They are.
I'm sure they are.
I'd never heard that. I'd never. Heard
I didn't
about
hear
Freddie
that
Freeman.
either.
No.
They
He
made
says
a
widely
huge
known.
offer for Freddie.
I didn't know that. Well, good for them. Was it the
How'd
biggest?
that work out?
Yeah. Didn't. Let's play there. That's one of those places. I'll play there if I get drafted there. I don't think I'm going to sign there unless I'm desperate for a job. They don't even have a roof now, so I don't know what you do.
I mean, the A's and the Rays both have a lot of things working against them.
They do.
Especially for these next 3 seasons.
It's tough, man. It's
After
tough.
that, new stadium in Tampa, moving to Las Vegas, that will appeal to some players. But right now, playing in Sacramento in 115-degree weather in the summer and playing in a roofless stadium or in spring training stadiums in Florida, that's going to be a tough sell, especially for two teams that don't overpay. Like, hey, yeah, I know it's tough, but we're going to give you twice what the other teams are offering. They're not going to do that either.
Our stadium sucks, and we also don't spend money, just so you know. Welcome to Tampa.
All right, so Soto's already 26, turning 27 next year. I don't think he wants to be a free agent again at 32 or 33.
Why not?
So
if it's Juan Soto, like
you're not going to get the same kind of money at 33 though for your
AAV.
I mean, what teams want are the next 5 or 6 years of Juan
Correct.
Soto.
Correct.
That'd be great for a team. We'll pay you a ton for the next 5 years. We don't want to have to pay you for the next 8
12.
after that.
Yeah, after that.
Those are the years where Juan Soto then is overpaid and makes a bunch of money. Now, Juan Soto will be underpaid. So there's no reason you don't want to sign away your best years and then put your worst years up for grabs in 5 or 6 years. He's signing a minimum 10-year deal. Probably 13 or 14 would be my guess.
My God, man. Till he's 41. Wow.
Yeah, I would say it'll be like Xander or Manny. It's the last contract for Juan Soto.
Yep. Better be happy where you go.
Unless something weird happens and he signs like a 1 or 2 year deal. And then, 2 years.
Just a mercenary every year.
$120 million
Right.
and then tries again at 28.
Yeah,
but
mercenary.
I don't know why that would happen. All right, let's check traffic. Maybe we'll get to a phone call after this on 97.3
From the
The Fan.
97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive-thru oil change. Just a couple things to mention here, guys. Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows a collision involving car and a motorcycle northbound 5 before Mile of Cars Way. Everything's over the right shoulder. And reports of a stalled car on the transition ramp westbound King Freeway to the southbound 15. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change centers. You don't have to get out of your car, and it usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, Adam says that the Rays offered Freddie Freeman 6 years and $140 million. What is he making with the Dodgers?
Was that like 25?
162 million with the Dodgers, with 57 million deferred from 2028 to 2040. Dodgers really like that bit, don't they?
They do. It's working for him.
Goodness gracious, yeah.
Working for him.
6 years, so it's really only worth 148. So if that was true, then in real dollars, like without inflation and future, then maybe the Rays did offer more than the Dodgers.
Tell our agent to look into more deferred money for our next deal. I'd like some more deferred money.
Would you?
Yeah, I would.
I'd be cautious about that.
Why?
Well, I mean, you feel like the Dodgers are probably going to be good for it.
Yeah. That was my first thought.
You know what? It's a good point. I'm going to want more upfront money. Now, I'm going to. How about a signing bonus? Would you do that? A lump sum?
I don't think well, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
I guess so.
Over deferred? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This business?
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Asked and answered. I'm glad you're here, Ben. You talked me out of it. I would have been on the phone this afternoon.
Yeah, let's defer some money.
Yeah, they got Guggenheim.
I mean, I like the idea of knowing, the checks will be coming for years to come, no matter what.
They have to come.
But they have to come.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, Bobby Bonilla, he was pretty sure the Mets were going to be around.
Be in business.
And they are.
Yeah.
And he's still making his checks every single year.
That's right. What's he make a year? Just a couple mil?
I think he just gets a mil every year. Another
That's
mil
so nice.
every year.
Yeah. Bobby Bonilla Day.
Whatever it is, July 1st or whatever day that is.
Alex is the only two realistic teams competing for Soto, the Mets and the Dodgers. I think the Yankees are still very much in play. Very, very much in play.
We don't believe in the Blue Jays or the Giants, some of the other teams that have reportedly reached out early.
Could you imagine him
to Juan Soto?
Could you imagine him on the Phillies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
Like, actually, very easily.
Like, I think he's...
The walks and monstrous
Trey
home
Turner,
runs
like
to
his
right
best
between him
friend?
and Schwarber would be...
Could you imagine? Schwarber won... Well, that's three lefties at the top.
Yeah, you might have to move it around a little bit.
Schwarber 1, Soto
Harper.
2, Harper 3, or some variation of.
Do you really care about lefty-lefty that much if it's those lefties?
I don't think you care, man. I don't think you care. So I think I wonder if he ends up signing with some sleeper team. Everybody thinks he's going to go to one of the New York teams or L.A., and he ends up signing with the Phillies.
I think there's a possibility in that. I think it's even a smaller market team, not a tiny market team, not the Rays, but we'll look at Juan Soto and go, you know what, if there was ever a player who was worth it,
let's get it.
This might be the guy who's worth it.
Cleveland.
Yeah. I mean, is he worth it or is he not worth it?
Yeah.
That's the question. All right, we'll come back. We got 1 hour to go.
I've got a play-by-play call that Woodsy's going to lose his
He played this for me, but you haven't heard it yet.
Haven't heard it yet.
You're going to like it. It's coming up next. Better Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Don't go away. Still ticked off about Clayton Kershaw. And again, I may not have any reason to be. Had 2 surgeries. I think maybe both of them yesterday. Plans to rehab and come back next season with the Dodgers. Has no inclination of testing the free agent market. But again, he declined a $10 million option. So he's not on their 40-man roster. Yep. He is basically giving them free money, free roster flexibility, and telling the other 29 teams, don't bother, I'm a Dodger for life.
Correct.
It's like collusion. I mean, I don't know why the players' union would even allow this to happen. You don't ever take less money. You don't ever give up your free agent rights. But essentially, it's what Clayton Kershaw is doing. He is giving up his free agent rights. He is giving his team flexibility and more money and saying, we'll get to me whenever I'm ready to go. And I just don't know. I don't know why that's, Tony says Kershaw is washed. Maybe it's a good thing that now the Dodgers feel like they have to employ him next year because he's done all this.
Yeah, but they don't have to pay him 10.
They don't have to pay him 10.
Not anymore.
Which they would have had to. They would have had to use a roster spot on him in the 40-man roster because you don't have any 60-day injured list during the offseason. Everybody goes back on the 40-man. Padres had to make some of those moves yesterday. Woods. Did you have the list of the minor leaguers that have become free agents, guys that were like Matt Batten is no longer on the 40-man roster and no longer a Padres minor leaguer, guys who hit free agency but aren't not the major league level of free agency?
Yeah, they re-upped a couple of guys as well. Catcher Brandon Valenzuela and Omar Cruz returning to the organization on minor league deals that include invitations to big league camp. They are the number 12 and number 22 prospects, respectively. And then a couple of guys that we are familiar with. They are outgoing minor league free agents. They've been on the Padres 40-man roster, include Matthew Batten, catcher Chandler Siegel, Drew Carlton, Nabil Krismat, Carl Edwards Jr., Reese Kinnear, Daniel Camarena, and Big Fudge, Austin Davis out.
Okay.
Could potentially come back.
JH619 says of Kershaw, he's taking a discount. What's wrong with that? Don't you want Padres to do that? If Jurickson Profar feels like it's in his best interest to sign for less with the San Diego Padres,
would you be mad?
I'm okay with that. But he didn't turn down $10 million to sign for less. Clayton Kershaw could have said, I will just opt in
player option
for my $10 million. There's nothing the Dodgers could have done about it. He still would have been a Dodger for life, still would have been available to them, but he instead turned down free money to then just throw it up into the wind and go, but I will figure it out later.
Yeah,
for presumably less.
The players' union, I think, would have a legitimate beef.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and this sums it up. Satan's Blowfish says he's doing more than just taking a discount. He's making sure they have less of a roster crunch over the break, so they're less likely to have to make any hard decisions that could mean cuts to the 40.
Which with the Dodgers, that they have a very full roster in terms of the players that they want to keep. It's definitely a crunch for them. This helps the Dodgers immensely that Clayton Kershaw has done this.
As people are making the point, that's his right to do. It's his career. He can do that if he so chooses. Now, again, if somebody in the players' union raised the stink about it, I think they would have a legitimate beef. You turn down $10 million player option, and you're going to come back whenever you come back mid-season. And listen, maybe
you're also turning down official rehab with the team.
Correct.
If you're under contract, all of this rehab, hey, you got the trainers at your disposal. Technically, Clayton Kershaw cannot step foot into the Dodgers training rooms, cannot work with anything until he has a contract.
Yeah.
That is off limits to him. Will that really be the case, or is he, at Elysian Park right now with the Dodgers trainers and will be starting his rehab program?
I think he's in recovery because he's
in recovery,
surgery.
But
he's probably on perks right now. If we're being honest,
or who's paying for his rehab trainers? Him personally should be.
Yeah,
all of that.
And you really have a bone to pick with Clayton.
A little bit.
Ben is going to do a full audit on where. On November 7th, it says here you were in Cedar Sinai. Do you have a copy of that bill? Did that bill go to your home address, or did that go to Dodger Stadium?
Andrew Friedman's not picking up that tab, right?
We really need to get you on the case here.
I think so. It's an investigation to be had.
Stone Cold says mountain out of a molehill. He follows the rules. Ben likes the rules to be followed. He likes everybody to follow them.
I also know that, if the Padres tried this, I
be
think
the end of
people
the
would be
world.
going, oh, A.J. Preller, here he goes
Here
again.
we go.
Start the investigation. I'm just pointing out the double standard here. That's all.
There you go. There is one.
All right. Paulie,
Maybe he's just grandfathered into anything he wants to do.
Paulie, if you would. And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Yes, sir.
We will start off a little basketball news, expected, but the Lakers announced that they have assigned Bronny James to their G League affiliate, the South Bay Lakers. Now, he is going to actually be on the roster for tonight's game. The team is in Philadelphia, or actually, I don't know if it's a home game or not, but they're playing the 76ers tonight. He will be in uniform on the roster for the Lakers, and then after that, he will join up with the South Bay Lakers. And no surprise really whatsoever here now that the G League season is getting underway, and they said the plan is for him to actually be only playing in G League home games and kind of shuttle him back and forth between the Lakers and the South Bay Lakers. So he's going to be kind of a hybrid player, but he didn't want to sign like the 2-way contract that they have in the NBA for G League players. Rich Paul, who of course represents LeBron as well, made sure to get him like the standard NBA contract, but the Lakers do want him to develop a little bit more on their G League team.
Well, and you can also take in some G League tonight, my friends, at Front Wave Arena. You can get your tickets at frontwavearena.com. Check out the San Diego Clippers. That's tonight, man. You can go down to the new Front Wave Arena. Bill Walton night, get you a fresh tie-dye T-shirt for the first 3,000 fans. It's going to be a scene.
And I can tell you that tickets won't cost what they are being sold for Bronny's South Bay Lakers debut on Saturday. Reportedly, secondary market, cheapest ticket, $200 for a G League game.
Wow.
That's
just
crazy.
to go see Bronny. That's nuts. Lakers fans, you're being crazy.
Yeah.
It's a G League game.
This
It's fun.
is,
It's not $200 worth of fun just to go see Bronny play in the G League.
I'll be honest, I looked at the San Diego Clippers schedule. I was like,
When
I could be
When
convinced
is
to
he coming?
go
Yeah.
see the South Bay Lakers, maybe. Probably not on a Wednesday night at 7 o'clock,
It's,
which is when they're playing.
November 20th, Wednesday, South Bay Lakers at the San Diego Clippers. But as you just
But,
said,
yeah, Shams
they're not-
wrote on ESPN, the organization's current plan, which can always change, is for James to play only G League home games as he shuttles between the Lakers and South Bay. So
So you
may
can't-
not even see
yeah, you
him
won't
when
see
he
him.
comes here.
And this is because LeBron still wants him around. Doesn't want just to say, hey, we'll see you after the season now that you're on the G League. He wants to be able to practice and spend time with Bronny.
I'm going to start bringing Bo and Taylor to work a few
You
days a
already
week. Just a few days a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then I'll take him to school on Tuesday, Thursday.
Spend more time with them.
Of course.
I mean, they've already done work. They've been on the air.
Yeah.
They've done it. Just
They've
like
done it.
Bronny has done it
That's
with
right.
LeBron. They have done it with you.
I would argue my kids had a better debut on air than Bronny
That's
did in the
probably
NBA.
true, actually.
All right? I would argue
Probably
that
true.
and be right. Somebody said in the chat that you give off hall monitor vibes. Were you ever a hall monitor?
Ooh, good
I don't
question.
think we had them at our school, but
You would have been.
Were you ever an RA?
yes. Chemistry class.
Wait,
Well, no, in high school.
we didn't
That's
have
a TA.
That's a
TA.
TA.
Oh,
Teacher's
TA.
assistant.
Oh,
Were
like
you a
you mean
residence-
at the like
the
in the
dorms.
dorm? No, I wasn't the RA at the dorm.
Did you get along
I
with
was
the
someone
RA?
that the RA was not worried about, but I was not the RA.
Like you'd have the cool RA that's
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm just here to tell you,
Yeah.
no drinking,
Right.
no parties, but I usually am not here on Fridays between 8 and 11.
Sure.
Wink, wink.
Ben would have been. You were.
I
so
was
you
a
weren't-
TA though for chemistry class.
I bet you were
I
a
like
great
TA.
TA.
Chemistry is kind of a cool
Like
class
TNA.
to TA. You're kind of in the like restocking the supplies.
Say
and
that
stuff.
again.
Chemistry is kind of a cool class to TA.
Say it again one more time.
Chemistry is kind of a cool class to TA. Mrs. Johnson.
She pick you? Hand pick?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was almost like a free period, you know.
Yeah.
You do a little bit and then have the rest of the time off. It was nice.
Yeah, so you weren't an RA, but you were probably friends with the RA.
Yes.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
All right, we'll move on. We do not talk a lot of collegiate soccer on this show.
That's true.
But we do like...
We just did in our last hour.
I actually kind of did. It's a big day for collegiate soccer here on Ben and Woods. But we do talk about and play ridiculous, crazy, awesome, fun play-by-play calls. So it's a little bit visual, but the audio will speak for itself. I'll set the scene. This was 2 nights ago. Stanford men's soccer was taking on Woodsy's Fighting Irish, Notre Dame.
Great game.
Now, it's a little bit different in the collegiate game. They have the clock that just runs down, similar to basketball or anything else.
You have to score before it hits
stoppage
0.
time.
It's not, the referee doesn't blow the whistle. There's an actual clock. And when it hits 0, the game is over.
Right.
No stoppage time.
You know, like, all right, 5, 4, 3, I better get one
Pop
off.
one in. Yeah.
So there's like 7 or 8 seconds left, and Stanford has the ball, and one of their defenders has the ball. He is
on his own side of the
well
field,
behind the midfield line. So he is a last-ditch effort.
Hail Mary, essentially.
A Hail Mary from behind the 50, the midfield line. This ball goes all the way across the field, over the goalkeeper's head, and into the corner of the net for a game-winning, a walk-off goal.
Like 1 second left on the clock.
And I don't know. I know a lot of schools will have like students, like student radio kids can call games. I don't know if this was on. Stanford's in the ACC now, right? So I don't know if this was ACC Network.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like officially ESPN of some, but I don't know who they hired to be the announcers.
There's no branding on the video
but
that went around.
The graphic, the score graphic is an ESPN style graphic.
But just listen to this final call.
Ferguson
the walk-off
draws
goal.
level. Here's a Hail Mary of a shot.
Oh, my God.
That...
Unreal! Hooper! 1 second left!
I think the broadcaster died.
Oh, my God. How did that go in?
You gotta be kidding me!
It was an unbelievable,
Oh, my God.
unbelievable goal.
It was incredible.
I don't need just that part isolated.
That was, I heard that. I go, okay, yeah, we can absolutely work with that.
Oh, my God.
That...
that part. Like the last
Manny
3
says, I love how
seconds.
his batteries died.
He was very moved by that goal.
That sounds familiar.
that...
Oh.
Yeah. Just kind of fell off there at the end.
Yeah, he did. He's tired.
Yeah. I mean, it gives you more respect for the goal guy and, the Spanish language goal guy, because he's got staying power. He doesn't.
Yeah, he can last.
He doesn't wilt at the end. He stays
can
strong all the way
last.
through the final bit of his goal call.
You're going to keep getting those ads that you've been getting if you keep talking this way. Just so you know.
Right there, just stop.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I got to find out who it is. I'm going to get a look at him. I can picture him in my mind's eye, but I need to get a look at him. Holy cow, that was good. At least it's the same sound Manfred makes when Shohei gets a hit, or Joe Davis. Cole said, my girlfriend just asked what the hell I'm watching.
find out.
That was spectacular.
I don't
that
know
was,
who this kid
whew, I need a
was.
cigarette after that for sure. Whew. Was it good for you?
Kevin Dana.
Kevin Dana, huge fan.
D-A-N-N-A.
Huge fan of your work.
Great stuff there. All right, then finally, as I was perusing the interwebs for a story for my last part of the Reindl Report.
Yeah, the fun story.
The fun story. It's not really a news story. It's not really news you can use, but it was a debate that split Reddit. So somebody put out a poll on Reddit and asked a good old would you rather question.
I never heard this one before.
I love
You've heard all the would you
I
rather.
thought we've pretty much done them all. We've heard them all.
You
this
haven't
one was
heard
new.
this one. The question was, would you rather find under your bed a dead person or a living person? And I mentioned it to you guys before the show. And we didn't really get into it. You both had some thoughts, and you said, just save it, save it, save it, save it. I will tell you that the poll was like split evenly. 51% people saying that they would rather find somebody dead under their bed. 49% said they would rather find somebody who was alive.
So clearly,
or that would be
neither
worse.
is not an option
Neither
here.
is- yeah,
Because
correct.
that would win in a landslide. Dead person or living person
Whoever put
under
up-
your bed.
Whoever put up the poll said, like, assume it's not like your brother playing a prank on you or something. It's you don't know this person if they were alive.
Right.
Yeah, because if somebody, I don't want anybody in my home to be found under my bed dead. Okay, anybody that's currently there, I gotta go dead.
Somebody
Stranger in your home.
Stranger dead under my bed is better than a stranger alive under my bed.
This person said they'd rather the person be alive so that they could choose what to do, kill them if they needed to.
I mean, you hope.
Yeah, you hope. This person said, I would prefer it to be a dead person. It may be more gross than scary. Then you got to consider that there was an
It's
alive
really-
person that put the dead person there.
It's really not that. I mean, if somebody
They could
died,
have crawled under there and then died.
then died.
what, for warmth or something,
Yeah.
out of the cold.
I think, well, yes, a living person would be more terrifying, actually.
So terrifying.
Ultimately,
You lay down on your bed, you hear, "Hey."
Ultimately, I think I'd rather have it be the living person.
Not me.
You like drop your phone, it bounces under your bed.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, let me go down and grab that. And there's somebody just hanging
somebody,
out down there.
Somebody lightly fingers your hand as you put your hand down there.
Heart attack moment.
Forget it.
But more than likely that the person is probably in there, like, was looking for a place to stay, didn't realize, thought no one was home, then heard you coming and like
Got
hid under the bed. Like,
scare me to death.
it would be scary, but I mean, a dead person
What do you
under
think you're
your
going to reason with them?
but
Hey, get out from under there.
yeah,
Hit the road, Bob.
I'm running out of the house. I'm calling the cops.
You're doing the same thing if they're dead.
Yes, but that is.
How
I
do you
mean, now
explain that
that's
one
gnarly.
away?
How do you really explain the fact there's a dead
Hi,
person under your
911.
bed?
There's a dead person under my bed.
Who
No,
is
I
it? Do
had
you know?
nothing
I
to do
have
with
no
it.
idea who it
idea.
is. How
I
they
didn't
got
do it.
there.
I didn't do it.
I mean, at least there's someone they could ask for the explanation if they find the live person.
Let me put it this way. If I go home after the show here and I walk into my bedroom and there's a dead person under there, I go, oh my God. I walk outside, I call the cops. I'm eating my Chick-fil-A by 11:30. And I don't think about it really for the rest. They come, they take it, I answer the questions. I'm sitting down eating my Friday Chick-fil-A by 11:30. And I don't think about it. For the rest, I'm like, that was weird. If I walk in today and I walk in and I hear, hey, and there's some guy under there, I could get knifed, I could be raped, I could be shot, I could be killed.
Did you catch a game last night?
Now, if it's him, me and him are eating Chick-fil-A together.
be carved.
It's gonna be carved. Forget it.
Ooh,
I would
Carving
never,
Guy
bro.
horror movie.
I would be so sick. I'd be so terrified the rest of my life, everywhere I went.
Here's the other part. I know we have to take a break. If there was a dead person under your bed, how long would it take for you to find them?
It would take me a while.
I mean,
I'm not
a
under
few,
there
a few
a lot.
days, you start smelling, and you're. I mean, where are you thinking like it's coming from? It's
Like, what the
something.
hell is that?
Something dying in the walls. Where am I looking? Because you're not really. How often you look under your bed?
Not very often.
I don't look
look
under
for
my
like my remote under there.
under
That's
there,
it.
but I don't know how long it would take to find the dead person. At least the living person, like you probably you take care of it immediately. They're
You
alive.
don't, though. They can take care of you. Next thing you know, you're in a box in their pawn shop with a gimp mask on, and you're like, well, how did this happen? Forget it, dude. Dead. Easy. I swear I wouldn't even lose a wink of sleep. I'll be like, oh, well, all I know is I didn't do it. I'm having my lunch by 11:30, and I don't think about it again. Like, that was weird. I don't know how that happened. But some creep under there, and like I said, next thing you know, you're in a box.
You hear me talking, hillbilly boy?
And that's you for the rest of your life. Forget it. I do not like to be scared by people that are hiding from me.
All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. I've got my super sexy Saturday college football lineup for you, if you'd like. And I would like to say hello to the man who just walked into the building.
Oh!
One,
there he is,
Italian Paul, Frank Marchese, who has had a month, and I am impressed. So hopefully we'll get to that as well. Coming up with Ben and Woods after traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
You excited for this one, Benny?
Didn't have this
Papa
on my
Roach?
bingo card.
I did not either. It was just a new surprise. Just,
What's the news from the Padres?
Just went into my Twitter feed.
Papa Roach and Rise Against are coming to Gallagher Square.
Okay.
Padres are announcing that on behalf of Live Nation. Let's see. The pre-sale begins next Tuesday. Concert is Wednesday, March 26th, right before opening day.
Ooh.
Gallagher Square.
Papa Roach is an American rock band from Vacaville, California.
Do you know that song?
I have heard the song, yes.
Let's hear your best Papa Roach.
Can I get some Ben Reed's Papa Roach?
No, I want him to like give me
it?
his best.
It is kind of more of a spoken word song at the beginning.
Play the beginning again.
I've heard it. Yeah, I've heard it.
One sec.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation.
Let's hear it.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing. Don't give up. If I cut my arm bleeding, this is my last resort. Is that not how he does it?
Wow.
What did I do wrong?
You were like singing it kind of. You have to go like, cut my life into pieces. You have to like, it has to be more like,
a scream.
Like, think about punch. Cut my life into
So more
pieces.
staccato.
More staccato.
Staccato.
There you go.
Cut my life into pieces.
Do you not know how to
this
do
is my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing. Don't give up. Cut
epilepsy
my
attack?
arm bleeding.
Why are
this
you
is
shaking?
my last resort.
He's doing this with his head.
Why You are unbelievable.
Holy.
I'm not pretending to be a rock star from Vacaville here.
All right.
I would like to see you do that at
Let's go
karaoke.
piece by piece here.
Yeah.
Cut my life into pieces.
Cut my life into pieces.
Better.
This is my last resort.
This is my last resort.
Suffocation.
Suffocation.
No breathing.
No breathing.
And then you're going to have to do the rest. I can't play the next part.
Don't give up. If I cut my arm bleeding, this is my last resort.
Nailed it. I would like to see you do that at karaoke sometime more than anything. Hey, will you open?
I'd like to see you do anything at karaoke.
I would too.
Deep lyrics. Verse 2.
Yeah.
I never realized I was spread too thin till it was too late and I was empty within.
Wow.
Hungry, feeding on chaos and living in sin. Downward spiral. Where do I begin?
This could be your life story.
It all started when I lost my mother.
Oh, your mother's still
No
alive.
love for myself, no love for another. Searching to find a love upon a higher level, finding nothing but questions and devils.
That's
Roach.
good. Ben Roach.
That is
Someone
good
said. It is
stuff.
good. I always love that song. Ben Roach. Papa Ben. I'm so happy. Cousinator says we can stop now. I actually can do this for the next 20 minutes.
I'm mad.
I think we just bang your college football.
Well, shall I do it in Papa Roach voice?
Please no. After that, I can't.
9 a.m. ABC.
Number 4, Miami at Georgia Tech. 12:30, it's Georgia. They're at Ole Miss on ABC. 4:30, Alabama visiting LSU. 7:15,
Into pieces. This is my last resort.
undefeated BYU.
Throw up. I can't believe this is happening.
I haven't laughed this hard in a long time.
I am pouring sweat, dude. I kind of want to make him do it like this every week. All right, it's time for your Papa Roach college football schedule. My stomach hurts, dude. So every week he has to come in and do Papa Roach college football. All right, here we go again. The Aztecs. Dude, just forget it. Oh, it hurt. The college football report. It's great, dude. Thanks for always being a good sport.
Oh, wow. And we do have New Mexico and SDSU tonight from the frozen tundra of Snapdragon Stadium or whatever.
God, is it home?
Yeah, it's at home tonight.
Oh, boy.
So we'll see what the turf looks like. 7:30, so we know Woods isn't going to make it to the end of the game. Quite frankly, Ben's probably not either on a Friday night.
Taylor's birthday party tonight at
that's right, Corvette Diner.
Yeah, so looking forward to that.
All right, we've got one more segment left, and while we'll probably get to things Ben likes.
Not going to top that one. I'll tell you that right now.
If you've been following, you may not have missed it. I don't know if you follow Italian Paul, Frank Marchese on social media, but over the last few weeks, he has been going through the process, and then recently he'll talk about it, but he's on his own weight loss journey. I talk about mine. Frank's is very impressive what he's been doing, and I want to get the entire story from Italian Paul. Is going to join us in our next segment when we come back on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
God, that was good. Be thinking about that all day. College football sung to the tune of Papa Roach's Last Resort.
Unbelievable.
By Ben Higgins, by the way.
If anyone missed it, yeah. Number 4, Miami at Georgia at 9 a.m. Number 3, Georgia at number 16.
Wait.
Number 4, Miami at Georgia Tech at 9 a.m.
I was like, well, doubleheader for Georgia. That's a
Number
new one.
Number 3, Georgia. Number 16, Ole Miss at 12:30. Number 11, Alabama. And number 15, LSU, 4:30. Pretty much an elimination game for the playoffs there. And then number 9, BYU, rivalry game, undefeated at Utah at 7:15 on ESPN. We got a holiday weekend coming up, and we're going to wrap up our week going into a holiday weekend, 3-day weekend. Yep. With what I think is an inspirational story involving our own colleague, Italian Paul, Frank Marchese. And we'll get to that right after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the Del Mar San Diego Reptile Expo. The roads are looking pretty good all around the county. Just a couple things to mention here. Northbound 125 Mission Gorge off-ramp. There is a crash involving several vehicles. They're trying to move that out of lanes. Also, South 163 past the 805. Some debris reported in the slow lane. Calling all reptile lovers, don't miss the Reptile Expo on November 16th and 17th at the Hilton San Diego Del Mar. Snakes, lizards, turtles, gators, and more. Fun for the whole family, and kids under 3 are free. Just hang on to them. Get tickets at CentralValleyReptileExpo.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Yeah, we call him Italian Paul because he fills in for our Paul sometimes, and he is very much of Italian heritage. He is here today. I believe you're filling in for Braden Soprenet on the Annie and Elston program.
Yes,
but, over the last, you've gone through some transformations. Frank Marchese is with us over just the last, month and a half?
Yeah, of course, we're talking about the Mets losing in the playoffs to the Dodgers, as the Padres did as well. How did you take that?
I took it surprisingly well, honestly.
You gave me the bit that people that are coping tend to do. I texted you after the loss or after a loss in the series, and you said, well, playing with house money anyway. Yeah, the old house money bit. I know it well. I know the house money bit well. But I think as a Met fan, you could actually say that and mean it, because it really was bleak for the Mets.
11 games under 500 in June. You're dead and buried find yourself in the National League Championship Series. That's a turnaround and a half.
Is Juan Soto on your radar as a Met fan?
Certainly on Cohen's radar.
Do you want Juan Soto there? You get to see him play.
Who wouldn't want him?
But we would, actually. We traded him. Yeah, the Padres, San Diego Padres wouldn't want him. We traded him away.
Yes, you did the right thing with that, though. That was the right thing to do.
It was.
That's true.
So, Frank, first of all, you look fantastic, which is great. But tell us kind of, a lot of Americans, including myself, have battled issues involving our weight.
Not me.
It's a very common.
Can't relate. Not even a little bit.
It's a very common thing, but recently you decided to do something about it, and something pretty dramatic about it. So tell us just a little bit about your journey here that you've gone through over the last month.
So I woke up one morning and decided, I'm going to start taking control over my life. I went to see Dr. Sunil Boyrul at Old Del Mar Surgical, and he suggested a stomach sleeve surgery, which is basically where they poke 5 holes in you and take out 80% of your stomach.
Wow.
So I had, starting on the 9th of last month, I had to start a liquid diet, which was not fun for the first 2 days.
I was following along with your tweets, and I could feel it through.
It was awful.
The Twitter.
Oh, it was awful. The first 4 days or so were horrific.
So all liquid, like just broths and things,
well,
or
no,
what?
I could have, like, as I said the other night, Gatorade Zero, sponsor me, please, because you kept me alive.
If he gets Gatorade sponsored before we do, I'm going to lose my mind. But go ahead.
You have kept me alive over the last month. Like sugar-free ice pops. I can have Jell-O, like soups that are just like
not chili.
Yeah, no.
I just had liquids. What do you have? Chili,
clam chowder.
Yeah, no chowders.
Yeah, no. The 24th, I had the surgery. It only took about a half hour.
That's amazing.
It's crazy.
It only took a half an hour to take out 80% of your stomach.
Yeah. The scariest part of the whole thing, at least for me, was getting wheeled back to the operating room because it's not talk anymore. There's no more jokes.
It's go time.
We're doing this.
It's like,
we're doing it now.
Yeah, it's go time. This is hey, skydiving would be really fun, and then you're in the plane and you're like, well, this sucks. I don't want to do this.
Yeah, so I ended up staying in the hospital 2 extra days because me coming out of anesthesia was not. We're not gelling.
Yeah.
So came home Saturday the 27th around noon or so, and then after that I've been on the liquid diet again. Just yesterday I was finally able to start puree food again.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the best scrambled egg I've ever had in my life last night.
Pureed?
No, it was just a scrambled. No, I could have a
like
scrambled egg.
Soft enough. A scrambled egg.
Yeah.
But what does it feel like?
Honestly, I don't feel
any different.
Too much different.
Yeah.
Of course.
The idea is that, when you eat, you're going to get full and satisfied a lot faster. With a smaller stomach, you're going to send that signal like, okay, I've just had half or a quarter of what I usually would have, and I am full. I'm done. I'm not going to have any more.
Yeah, like if you would have told me a month ago, here is one scrambled egg and that's it, I would have strangled you.
Yeah.
But
where's my toast? Where's my potatoes? Where's my corned beef hash? Yeah.
That's a big problem. When I went to the doctor, they said I can't have like rice, bread, or pasta until Christmas. I'm like, no, I'm Italian. That's
pasta.
That's a problem. That's a
You're
big
literally
issue.
taking away 3 meals a day from me right now. All right, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snack.
But yeah, it's been incredible. And as of this morning, I'm down 50 pounds.
Wow.
And how, like, what's the goal?
My personal goal is to get down to 245. So I started this at 394, and I'm down to 344 right now.
So you still got how
Third
much?
of the way.
Third of the way.
Yep.
That's awesome, dude. Congratulations.
By this time next year, though, you very well could be there.
I very well could. And you know what the funniest part is? Hearing your SD fat loss commercials. I've lost 40 pounds in 60 days. I'm like, beat you.
Yeah. Nice.
10 more pounds in 30 less days. What's up?
Different journeys for everybody, but the most important thing is making the journey. And as you said, taking control.
Yes.
And, changing your life, making this decision that you wanted something different and something better for yourself.
It's awesome, man.
Which is awesome.
That's really good. You know how good? You know how good that pasta is going to taste at Christmas?
Oh,
I mean, do you have any idea?
I'm only going to be able to have like a forkful, but God, it's going to be great.
The best forkful you've ever imagined.
All right, so it begs the question. Last year at the Christmas and Holiday Extravaganza, Italian Paul came in and worked the board for us and did a phenomenal job. I would hope that you're back this year.
I would hope so, too.
Okay.
I would have to assume.
I would like that. Adam, if you're listening, let's make that happen. Number 2, though, he made us a cheesecake, and he made us the most delicious, what was it? It was Italian custard. I think about it. I think about it at least once a week. About Italian Paul's Italian custard that he made us. Is that off the table now?
I can't eat it, but I can make it for you guys if you want.
Well, that's kind of mean of me.
It's tough. It's either hard, like you're sabotaging it, or Frank may think, hey, you know what? I can still derive a lot of satisfaction about making
Feeding
other
these
people
fat guys
and making other people happy.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't mind making it again if you guys wanted it.
I just don't. I don't want, like, you don't take an alcoholic. You're like, hey, I'm going to lock you in a liquor store.
No.
All right, see you later. Have fun.
I can't eat it.
Hey, you're bartending our party next
Yeah,
week.
hey, can you bartend? I know you're 3 days clean and sober. You want to pour some drinks for us? Like, I mean, it's like I feel like a jerk. What I would hate to see, I'd hate to come in here on a break and see Italian Paul sucking out custard out of the,
If you guys were doing a Christmas show in like February, I would be able to eat.
You would be able to eat
but
it. Okay.
I can't.
We're not going to push
be
the
able
Christmas
to
show
at the
for
time.
you. All right. I would like some custard.
I'm really happy for you as someone who's done my own weight loss journey, and certainly I've obsessed about food my entire life. I just know how hard it is to think that you're giving something up, but I can also tell you that now I'm kind of on the other end, how much better I feel and how it is worth it. Whatever the pain that you've gone through, and I know it is, it is pain to go through it, that the goal on the other end is worth it when you feel like, man, I can get out and do things and I can feel good about myself. It is truly worth the pain and suffering you're going through.
Yeah, like this shirt I'm wearing, I haven't worn in years.
Let's go.
So,
That's awesome.
Nice.
And one thing my uncle tells me that I keep thinking of: nothing tastes as good as being skinny feels.
Ooh,
so
I like that.
I like that too.
I like that a lot.
And it's ringing true.
Frank, Ben wouldn't do it when he lost his weight. He wouldn't go out and buy new clothes.
Yes.
We got really mad at him.
He still won't.
We said, bro, that's the treat. That's the reward for your hard work. So
Frank's gonna have no choice.
When you get to that point,
oh no, I will.
Go spoil yourself.
Yeah.
Go to the mall. Go crazy.
No, I definitely will. I'm not at that point yet.
I know.
My store recently has been my closet, the back end of my closet.
That's
stuff.
and I had the same thing too. I had a bunch of stuff that just didn't fit me anymore that I started fitting into.
You know what I learned about Ben Higgins last week? We made him wear for Halloween jeans, and he walked into the production studio, and I go, "Bro, why don't you pull your shoes up?" Because he had like high waters on, and he goes, "No, these are actually the right length. They don't fit over my calves. Regular jeans." So he had to lean down, pull his, and I go, "Oh my God, they are regular length." He goes,
everything's skinny jeans. To me.
Every pair of jeans he wears is a pair of skinny jeans.
Tapered, skinny.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
You look like the Kings of Leon
I need
the year
60s,
2000.
I need 60s bell bottoms, essentially.
It's
to
the
fit over my
only thing
legs.
that will fit him. Now, how are your thighs are just normal?
Fairly normal.
Yeah.
But it's just the calves. They just ride right up. They're doing it here with my sweatpants. I just keep moving up, and I got it.
I mean, it's truly. I was like, bro, you can't be wearing high waters around here, man. He's like, they're not, and you had to yank them down over his giant bulbous calf.
10 times a day. Just have to push the
bell bottoms
the
would be
down.
a good player for you. Maybe I'll get you
They
some
never
for
came
Christmas.
back. Everything comes
them.
back.
Yeah, you can wear
bell
them.
bell bottoms are back.
Absolutely.
I was never really alive for when they were a fad.
The Black
so.
Crows still wear bell bottoms. So if I bought you a pair, would you wear them?
Bell bottoms.
I would like to see it.
Seems.
If you wear them on the news, I'll give
exactly.
you $500.
If I show up on set,
I'll give you $500 to wear them on the news or at a live shot somewhere.
do I have to change my name to Moon Unit Higgins as well?
I would love it. I would love it, dude.
Well, Frank, congratulations.
We're so proud of you, dude.
Man.
Thank you.
Have a good show today with Annie and Elston, and have a good weekend as well.
Thank you
Thank you,
very
buddy.
much. You guys too.
Appreciate you.
Very impressed. Very
Yeah.
impressed. Glad we were able to share Frank's story, and so impressed
the
that
other
he's
thing,
willing to share his
that's
story
what
as
I
well.
was going to say, man. It takes a tremendous amount of heart and guts to share that stuff on the air. It's not easy, and to share it online as well. And I
Real
think
quick, one more time before you go. We had a listener just DM me, says, "Where did Italian Paul have his surgery, and what was the doctor's name?"
Delmar, what was it?
Dr. Sunil Boyrul at Old Delmar Surgical. It's up in La Jolla by.
come on down to Old Delmar Surgical, where the turf meets the surf.
I'd rather have New Delmar Surgical myself, but that's fine. I think they mean Old Delmar in terms of like
OLDE.
the old area.
Yeah, like ye oldie
It's
Delmar.
it's
The
up
ye
by
oldie surgery shopping.
It's right next to the Ye Old Candy Shop.
shopping.
it's
Ye
up by
Old Surgical Center.
it's up by UCSD. Like so on the 5, it's
There's
Genesee Avenue.
no leeches involved.
No, there
Dad, this is pure cocaine. Take some of this.
No, there
Excuse
were-
me?
very modern place that.
All right.
Very modern place.
Very modern Ye Old
Scripps.
Surgical
Down
Center.
here at Old Delmar. Come on down, where the turf meets the surf.
Scripps Medical is loving
No more
this
surf
right now.
or turf for you, Frankie. Holy crap. That was gold.
Oh.
Pure gold.
I say, man, behind the scenes, we'll pull the curtains back. We had
had
nothing
zero.
planned for our 9 o'clock hour today. And I think it might have been one of our best 9 o'clock hours we've ever
We
had.
didn't have much planned for 6, 7, 8. To be honest, today, going into the holiday weekend like most people do on a Friday, you're just trying to get to the end of the day. But it was a fun show.
All right. Monday is Veterans Day.
Yes.
Shout out to all the veterans, certainly. Do you say Happy Veterans Day? You do.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
not Memorial Day.
Okay.
Happy Veterans Day.
Happy
to
Veterans
everybody.
Day. Okay. Remember, Paulie, it's still not a cause for celebration. like Memorial Day is for you.
We don't have time for things Ben likes, but I like Italian Paul.
I like Italian Paul, too.
We'll throw that one out there for everybody. Annie and Elston will be coming up next. Yeah, we will be back Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. We'll see if anything happens this weekend with the San Diego Padres in the wake of the general managers' meetings. We'll certainly have plenty of football and other stuff to talk about when we rejoin you Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. But
you guys have a great weekend.
That's it. You
Enjoy
too, Woodsy.
it.
For Paul Reindl, for Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Please have a safe and happy Veterans Day weekend, and we'll talk to you on Tuesday here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.